Stugotz, I've got a problem today.
What happened?
Greg Cody is in, and I want to spend 4 hours talking about his shirt because he's wearing the same shirt he was wearing last time, and he looks good in his shirt, and his wife should buy a dozen of them for him.
Yeah.
All different colors because he shouldn't wear anything but this shirt for the rest of his life, and he knows it, and so he's wearing it all over the place.
So what's the problem?
Yeah, hold on. He's doing what you're saying he should do.
Yes,
do it till you're satisfied.
I want to
Exactly.
thank you. Well, thank you, Billy, for the way that you expressed that, because the request I'm going to make of you is this. It is rare in 20 years as we celebrate our 20th anniversary that I come in here and I see Billy in bucking bronco form. He's got a sports topic in his teeth, and he's screaming at a room full of people about Billy Wagner and the Hall of Fame.
He's in the Hall of Fame.
And I have a Hall of Fame voter to
Weird.
my right. I have genuine indignation in the room, nationally and internationally, that someone would dare to not vote for Ichiro for the Hall of Fame.
That's fine.
I know. I can't believe I didn't. Never thought I'd be the only one.
Don't do that, Craig, because people are not going to know you're joking and they're looking for blood today.
Yes.
I don't think he's joking.
I wish it were you. I mean,
I know. I do too.
We don't know that it's not. In fact, I think you should sink into it unless we're going to shame out this voter, because John Heyman, in protection of all things sacred in baseball, says Ichiro missed unanimity by 1 vote. Please step forward, you numbskull.
that is rough for Heyman. I mean, that's as far as he'll go.
Numbskull is the bridge too far on insult?
No, it's as far as John Heyman is willing to go. So he's really pissed off.
That's an old-timey insult. Numbskull.
I like it.
Yeah, that's from like the 60s.
Bob Ryan was not too thrilled about this situation either, Dan. I don't know if you saw what he said. He said, whoever did not vote for Ichiro in the Baseball Hall of Fame election should have his or her voting rights revoked and should be placed under house arrest because clearly that person is unhinged and a clear danger to society.
And a dipshit. I wish they just ended it with and a dipshit. Just up the numbskull to dipshit.
2 syllables is key. I like asswipe, but
Good one.
Numbskull is old. It just means someone whose skull is numb. Like that's.
I'm guessing. I mean,
I think numbskull is Three Stooges era.
yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
How about house arrest, though? I mean, seems a bit excessive.
Well, people are upset about this today. I can't believe this is what I walked into today. Football is gone, and you guys immediately lapse into fighting about the Hall of Fame?
Is it weird that there's some times that I hope for house arrest? I kind of I've never looked up
We
what
all
it
had
is.
that in 2020.
Yeah, and I was
It didn't
fine.
go well.
No,
Although,
I was okay.
I don't know. Did you have that in Florida?
What, house arrest? Voluntary.
I don't know.
Seems like a breeze.
Yeah, nah, it just seems like a get out of jail free. I mean, you're in jail. I guess your house is your jail, but it's like a get out of jail free card for certain things you don't want to do, right? I can't house arrest, and then you show them a little ankle monitor. I should look up what you can do to get house arrest and get out of.
As I said, he's a bucking bronco. Let's get started. I want to ride this into the sky.
Stop that. Stop that. Stop that.
I hear him chat to the noise, move too quick, can't stop for the talking. I hear him chat with the walking. Just too sharp with the prize. White girls better tell me I'm awesome, yeah. Hot like fire on the pan. If you wanna touch my please use caution.
Cold like 0 degrees. I'm out the cage, gotta let out the beast. Revolutionary, gotta let out the streets. Locked in a cage, I'ma let out the let out the sheets. You can't go on, man, forget my peace. You take the west side, take on the east. I'ma put them in the cage, never let out the
I hear him chat to the noise, move too quick, can't stop for the talking. I hear him chat with the boys, not so tough, but man's keep walking, yeah. Just too sharp with the prize. White girls better tell me I'm awesome, yeah. Hot like fire on the pan. If you wanna touch my please use caution.
Stop that. Stop that. Stop that.
Have at it, Billy. Go ahead. Give the people your baseball arguments. You've got a.
Oh, I thought you were doing house arrest again because I looked it up.
You've got a quantified. You've got a quantified Hall of Fame voter over here. He's got
Quantified. Wow.
he's empirically one of the most powerful people at judgment in baseball, and his ballot every year. You've been doing it for how long now?
Error in judgment. I think I've had a vote for 10 or 12 years.
Okay, you're very
10 or
proud.
12,
You're very
huh?
proud of that vote. I don't know on career prides, decorated legendary.
Did you hear that through the glass?
Are you okay? Did you get some on your hand? It seemed like you looked at your hand in the sneeze. I've told people around here, Jessica, I've told people around here to have the microphones on at all time that your sneeze is comedic gold and we need to stop whenever it is present. We need to stop.
Thank God I'm wearing a waterproof jacket today. That sneeze is all over my arm.
Bless
Thank
you.
Lehman
Yeah.
got it from me in New Zealand. He was there for the World Cup last
Oh,
year.
that's so nice.
Yes.
Notre Dame colors on purpose, yes? Proudly Notre Dame today.
Imagine if Notre Dame was a Nike school and we could have things like this all the time. Under Armour, you're on notice.
There's two things in this world that you don't want to check, but you got to. When you use the restroom number 2 and when you sneeze in your hand. You don't want to, but you got to look just to make sure everything.
Yep.
Make sure everything's fine.
It's fair.
Oh, don't act like you don't look that. You have to look. You're just checking, making sure.
I said that's fair.
No,
Why are you lashing out at
no,
me?
No, it's Billy in the
But
background.
what are you checking on when
Just
you
to
go to
make
the
sure
bathroom?
making sure everything's
Inside the
kosher.
bowl?
Everything's kosher.
Yeah.
There's no red. Just making sure everything's the color it should be.
Why not at home though? I mean,
No, I'm saying you do it at anytime
anywhere.
you do it.
Okay.
Yeah.
You check every time.
And
I'm
the
with you.
hand. And,
Yeah.
and like Jess just did, you sneeze in your hand. You don't want
It
to look.
wasn't my hand. It was my elbow.
But you got to check. You check the elbow. You just got to make sure nothing.
Have you ever seen red?
Yeah, have you ever found anything
Yeah.
concerning?
No.
I've passed out from the blood.
What?
What?
Really?
I'm sorry.
That's a very vague statement. Blood from that situation? Just general blood?
Please expand.
I don't know if I want to. You guys have gone a little bit far down this path,
We
a little
did.
further. Yeah, well, I ended the proceedings the way that I did.
Classic brown wave.
Right, but you left us hanging.
Yeah.
I mean,
So I would like the video department right now to find that video of Jessica sneezing into her hand and see if there's some liquid and see if she checked it and see if it's on her sleeve. Video, please tell me that you'll have slow motion of Jessica sneezing. I believe our show needs to stop immediately when the sneeze appears, genuflect before it and Notre Dame, and celebrate all things that are her allergies.
Jesus bless.
Jessica strikes me as the kind of person who actually says the word achoo when sneezing. Not many people do, but she does, I think.
right.
Achoo.
Rare. Yes, you're right.
Exactly.
Thank you. Billy,
You're
I feel
welcome.
like some light insider trading you could get a little ankle monitor for.
I looked this up. I don't want to go down the path of house arrest just because of what you need to do. So like fraud, embezzlement, shoplifting, bad checks, like, okay, that's not that bad. Driving under the influence, like, we don't want to do that. Unless it's like controlled, right? Where you go to like a closed road and you self-report and you like tell the cop, hey, this is the time I'm going to be here.
Yeah.
I already put up the cones. Like
No
I'm
one's
just-
in danger.
Exactly right. I'm
Right.
just looking for some house arrest here. I can't fulfill social obligations for the next, 6 months to a year and a half or whatever.
Billy,
like,
but you
just
want-
come over here, park by the side of the road. This is the deal. So we do it the safest way possible, right?
Couldn't you just purposely, like, you drive sober but purposely fail a field sobriety test?
I guess, but like, I think I want the whole experience.
Wow, that's a good idea.
You have to have a clean record and you have to have strong ties to the community.
It's
you know
a
that,
Good
right?
idea.
Yeah.
To get what?
To get house arrest.
House arrest?
Yes.
I think I'm okay.
You have a clean record?
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, until I have my fake Dewey, you know?
So Greg Cody is on board with being a soldier in your army marching toward house arrest, which is just, can I be sedentary at home? Leave me alone for a
Yeah,
while.
baby.
I don't have to go anywhere. I don't have to do anything. I don't have to see people. I don't
My
have to
dream come
visit.
true.
I don't have to.
Imagine having the ability to say, I can't go out with you tonight.
I know,
mean-
but so Billy is saying,
Can I
please.
just buy a house arrest monitor and put it on myself to tell people? Hold on a second.
They are for sale.
Amazon.
I looked it up.
Really? How much?
I'm seeing here they're a little pricey. $220, $370. I see a couple here.
But really, what's the price of your freedom?
Right.
Well, this is the thing.
See if
So-
we can get a deal on 2 of those,
So
okay?
Guillermo, child of exiles, is
$14.99.
willing to give up his freedom in exchange for, can I just stay home with my kids for a while? They'll be a prison of their own kind, but it'll be less complicated for me than obligations and parties I have to go to elsewhere. Please just let me stay at home and not go anywhere and give me just the excuse that I can tell others, I'm sorry, I cannot
You don't get
entertain.
It's a great out.
I
mean,
can't
you don't get
entertain
it.
time with you. I can't be with someone.
We define
I'm
freedom.
forbidden by law.
We define freedom very differently. For you, freedom is not being under house arrest. For me, freedom is.
It's your heaven.
Exactly right.
So you're saying
Looking into this Noro and
so
how I could spread it.
You're saying that at this point, your life, you would like it reduced to just your home so you can have the excuse of, I don't have to interact with anybody.
Yeah, I mean, I have a small home, so it will get old after a while, but, you know, for a week or two, it's fine.
But it's home.
Man, the pandemic changed everything.
It really did.
Yeah.
I mean, a whole lot of people realize, I'd just rather be home. I'd rather be home watching Netflix.
I think I was stressed out about the fact that I was taking it so well. If I'm looking back, I was like, I'm adapting to this very well. Something must be wrong with me because everyone else is freaking out. And then obviously the anxiety kicks in. It's like, well, what's wrong with me? Why am I not having stress over this situation? I should be handling this much more poorly.
It wasn't just because you were stuck at home. It's because you knew everyone else was. So it's not like you were missing out on, any social obligation.
I'm really good with FOMO. Like, I don't have it. I'm fine with other people having fun on their own. I don't feel like I need to be part of other people's fun. Yeah, I'm okay with that. Like, you
You're
guys
okay
can go,
with house arrest.
You guys can go have your fun. Like, enjoy yourself. I hope you guys have a good time. I don't need to
Billy
be part
has
of it.
gotten closer to happier recently, I think, I'm saying from afar, as he has shrunk his life. And I'm just going to be with these things that I love the most.
Well, I mean, I don't mind when they leave the house too. You know, it's really like if I could be in my house by myself. Oh,
It's like a vacation.
exactly right.
It's terrific.
You have to start sending the family away, Billy.
But you have to pretend like you're sad about it. Like, oh, no.
Oh yeah, no, of
Wait,
course.
Lehman, you have to go on a work trip? Oh, that stinks.
Get me a jacket.
Yeah, when my wife is traveling and she's away on business for 2-3 days, it's the best time of the year.
Well, that's
nothing against her. I
Probably
love
shouldn't
my
say
wife.
that out
Right.
loud.
That's fine.
No, I mean
She knows.
She knows what I mean.
She
She's
feels
having
the
a good
same
time
thing.
as well,
Yeah.
yes.
It's mutual.
She's like, this is amazing.
It's like a trial divorce.
This hotel room is so quiet.
Oh, believe me, yeah, she probably does
He's
think
not
that.
snoring.
And more power to her. I do snore like a lumberjack.
Same.
But
I've said this a couple times, and I'm sorry to cut you off, Greg, but like the best sleep that I've gotten since my children were born was the night that I had to stay in the hospital because I had kidney stones and I stayed there alone. And like I've had
You loved it.
I've had a fear like my entire life of being alone in the hospital. But I was like, well, I have 2 young kids. Like, don't stay. Like, you need to be home with the kids, take care of the kids. Like, I'll brave through this. I will. Like, this is one of my fears, being alone in the hospital overnight. But like, I'll do it. And I woke up and I was like, oof. Can we get another night of this? Like, I haven't passed him yet. Like, how do we hold this over one more day? Doc, I think I'm still feeling something here.
Another stone?
Yeah. Oh, I think we got another one. It was great. I mean, the drugs helped.
Oh, yeah, of course. They always do.
Billy,
Minor drug offense.
I think a lot of people are connecting with you. I will say, I want to tell everybody here, the Greg Cody Show featuring Greg Cody
Fine.
will give you coughs. If sneezes aren't enough here, you can get coughs over there because they are consistently making me laugh. The dynamic between you guys, Hee-Haw 3, with coughs, because right now, comedically, I don't think there's anything funnier going in comedy right now than saying the thing that makes Greg Cody laugh and then predicting when that laugh will become a cough.
yeah,
It's delayed, right?
it's so sad.
It morphs.
I mean, the idea that laughing would be the one thing that makes me cough is cruel. It's cruel and unusual punishment on the part of fate.
Why'd you poop blood?
It's a good question.
Happens to the best of us.
We're all
Colitis?
thinking about it, Dan.
Okay, I didn't want to go there, and I just did it to give us a segue into other things, to jar the room into this is not appropriate. Let's move on.
Okay.
And let's
Sorry.
get to Jessica's jacket. I am well aware, Stugotz, that whenever you're here, if it's poop talk, that you want the ball and you want to dribble it. I know.
I mean, I'm concerned about you. You said you pooped blood, and that would be
passed out.
right, and passed out. And so I didn't know if it was true or
but
not.
I
Where'd you
was,
fall?
I was really just trying to move
I know, I'm sorry.
out of the
Right.
conversation where you guys were spending so much time on Chris Cody's general lack of hygiene, the sneezing into the hand.
I have a new topic. So I have it on very good authority. I don't know if you guys saw yesterday. There was a lot of sports writers talking about how the lines at TSA at the Atlanta airport were 2 hours long, and it was just like a complete mess. They weren't ready for the amount of people that were going to be flying out of Atlanta yesterday. I have it on good authority. A certain sports media person cut the line.
What?
Really?
This is your exclusive reporting?
Name names.
Well, I'm not going to say, but you can guess. I'll
Golic?
probably be right.
The Golics seem to still be in hotel rooms.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
we might be able to rule that.
Gojo
Golic
is
was stuck
still
on the tarmac for
stuck
3
there.
hours.
And
yeah.
he's still in Atlanta right
Yeah.
now.
How
Man.
about they canceled school in Tallahassee in northern Florida? Are you kidding me? Like, my daughter is going to school right now in Chicago. It is 14 below there, and it's 38 degrees in Tallahassee. We've shut down school.
Well, let me ask the people here if they've seen snow in Florida before, because I think this is a really rare weather event. I'm not used to seeing beaches in Florida, Destin, that where you're used to seeing sand there. Instead, there is snow over the sand. Is that something that's been seen in? I'm 50, and I remember people talking about snow in the 70s in Florida, but
I lived it.
Okay, so was it this?
No, it was barely snow. It was a dust. I remember I was in college at the time because it took me 15 years to get through college. And I remember a haze of white on my windshield that morning in 77, whenever that was.
It was in 77.
Are we just shrugging our shoulders on the idea of it's a bit apocalyptic when it's snowing in Florida? Like, that's not a thing that's normal.
Well, it's snowing in Tallahassee, which is,
Barely Florida.
it's the northernmost part of Florida. So if it's snowing in Atlanta, it would stand to reason snowing in Tallahassee is not that far off and not that big of a deal. Right?
I welcome it as a near lifelong Floridian. I like snow. Like I would like snow 3 or 4 times a year.
Is Tallahassee both barely Florida and the most Florida?
yes.
Yes.
Same with Jacksonville.
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw videos of Bourbon Street with like 3 inches of snow on the ground. That blew my mind.
Jessica, where are you on the emotions of the national championship?
What a
Because,
segue.
We did,
Sad.
Really?
I'm okay, actually.
Seem well adjusted.
I was complaining to Greg the entire time we were getting our makeup done about certain aspects of the weekend that were unsavory, and I feel like I got a lot off my chest. So now I feel better.
What does that mean?
I felt like the city of Atlanta was surprised by the fact that there was a national championship game Monday, and there were several bars that we went to where there was like one bartender working, and it was kind of a mess. They didn't know that there were going to be so many people trying to be indoors. There was a situation where there was like a tailgate party indoors where the fire marshal was like turning people away, and they're like, you can't come in, there's too many people in here, because everyone was so cold. And it was just a big cluster on Monday, I would say. And then the in-stadium situation, the DJ was very, very loud. He was very loud. He was singing a lot. It was too much.
Wow.
People at that game, they're paying a lot of money to be at that game. You don't need to like convince them to cheer. It was a very loud and raucous atmosphere.
What are you making faces about?
Because that strikes a chord with me. I have been campaigning my entire life with no success to do away with the whole idea of cheerleading. Okay, sports fans know how to cheer. We don't need somebody on a sideline waving a pom-pom, doing a dance, kicking their legs. Mm-hmm. The whole idea of cheerleaders, and I apologize if there's any cheerleaders out there listening, but it's useless. Sports does not need cheerleading. And to Jess's point, we don't need a hype guy at a national championship game. You got a guy trying to hype the crowd. The crowd's hyped. Everybody's paying $5,000 to get there. Can't even leave because the TSA's too slow, because the college football apparatus did not. I blame the CFP for this. I don't blame the city of Atlanta.
Right.
This doesn't happen at Super
Nice
Bowls.
of you. Yes.
Yeah, thank you.
So less music and no cheerleaders. This
Right.
got a lot less fun really quickly.
Well, Greg,
Not really.
I have a question for you. Is the problem the cheerleaders, or is it the lack of cheer followers? Because we have cheerleaders trying to lead cheers that no one chooses to follow,
Well, to
and then
Greg's
people
point,
go rogue.
To Greg's point, no one wants to be told when to cheer, how to cheer. We're going to cheer.
Yeah.
You know?
Oh, no. I love a good over the PA system. And then I get to scream charge. If not for that sound, I would never scream charge, and I would never clap my hands with everyone in unison. They need to tell me, everybody clap your hands, and then we know it's time to clap our hands.
Greg, it's an odd take from you only from this standpoint. I agree with what it is you're saying, but you strike me as someone who would love to be a hype man.
Didn't you audition to be a golden oldie?
He would love to have a hype man.
Yeah.
Not
Okay.
be, not he doesn't want to be.
Well, getting the crowd all charged up. I'm Greg Cody. I mean, I could see Greg doing that.
When we asked him to do it at our play in New York or whatever that thing was we were doing in New York, he ran on the stage, ran past the microphone, and forgot all his lines. He wants to have the hype man. He does not want to be the hype man. We asked him to do it for us.
I mean, a lot of his sayings are hype man-y things to say. Do it till you're satisfied.
I'm a natural hype man.
That kind of thing.
Yeah, I could be a hype man.
And you know it.
Yeah, exactly.
Be a hype man.
I could be a hype man.
The world's worst hype man, but
in a hip hop ensemble.
That's true.
you don't have to.
What?
I heard that.
No,
Yeah.
I would be.
Yeah.
I would be the guy in the hip hop ensemble filling in dead space by go.
Yeah, the hype.
Yeah.
The hype. Yeah, the hype.
Yeah.
The hype man. Yeah.
Hype man.
That's
Right.
right.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, you would
Exactly.
enjoy that. Yeah.
That was kind of what you did at the Vegas show last year. Like you were the hype. What?
He was the crowning jewel of the Hee Haw 3.
But he was also
doubt.
hyping up
I mean,
like the show from
I
this
am
other stage.
The leader of the Hee Haw 3.
Yeah, you are.
Founder as well.
Yep.
Just imagine, Greg, how electric it would be if you had 80,000 people with pom-poms that knew exactly the hand motions to do at the same time as the cheerleaders.
He's just warming up to the
Say
idea.
what? Yeah. Ba, 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 ba.
They're not all winners.
That's right.
Give me a call.
And you know it.
And you know it, and you do know it.
Get to the call.
Don't make me laugh. I will cough. By the way,
There it is.
can I put a bow on house arrest?
Yeah.
Okay, at any time in this country, there are approximately 250,000 people under house arrest. Okay, this is a weird background for this conversation.
Just keep
250,000 people under house arrest at any time. You know what we need, and somebody's got to invent it. We need designer ankle bracelets.
Okay. I like that.
No,
Love it.
because think about it. If you're under house arrest, you should, Gucci should make an ankle.
Yeah.
That
You know what I'm saying?
It's not bad.
With your initials on it.
Yeah, right. Designer, if you want to pay for it.
Maybe we put it in the store.
Yeah, you got
Yeah.
a gold ankle bracelet.
You know what I think, Greg?
Yes.
Zagaki.
Yes.
Now
yes.
we're there.
Come on.
Yeah.
Come on. Let's go. They gave you some music. You said you wanted to be a hype man.
Yeah.
You said
I'm
you got
failing,
your
though.
phrases. Just stay with us here. Well, the music will be here the entire time. You get in where you want as the hype man for the show. Can I get back to what it is that Jessica was saying about the national championship game? You get in wherever you want. Yeah. You get in wherever you pick the spots to get in just like that.
With whatever line you want. All right?
For the record, I'm pro cheerleader.
But Jessica, I have heard, and I don't know if what I'm about to say is so, but just from a couple of people who said to me, hey, the national championship game was played Monday night. I'm like, yeah, Ohio State, Notre Dame, it's a giant game. And they're like, but it feels like the championship got spent on the way to the championship when we were all gorging a bunch of football games at a time, and that the national championship game between two giant powers somehow escaped some attention spans in sports that are really spread thin?
And you know it.
I think that happens every year because it's on a Monday and it's like after the bulk of the college football season's already ended. So it always feels like it's like, oh, yeah, we have one more game. And then unless your team's playing in it, like it kind of sneaks up on you. And also this year happening right after like the divisional round of the NFL playoffs, which took up a ton of oxygen. Some ginormous games were played this weekend, which I'm excited to hear your guys' takes about. Like, it's a Monday in the middle of January. It just kind of sneaks up on people.
There is something to that, Dan, where on Monday I was out of gas. I can't believe I'm saying this. I didn't want more football.
Really?
Yeah.
What?
I wasn't in the mood for a college football national championship game. it was a Monday.
I wish it was like I know like this will never
Lying
happen, but I wish they could work something out with the NFL and put the national championship game Saturday leading into the NFL games and then Sunday the rest of the games. Like just feels like a missed opportunity. And also having the semifinals on Thursday and Friday, I saw that the ratings were down from last year when it was on New Year's Day because New Year's Day is a huge college football day. And so just like weekday playoff games is hard for fans. It's hard for spectators, obviously. It's just weird.
I don't understand why it is that people wouldn't just see that as a giant game and that's it. It's always been a giant game. That game played, I don't care how much sports is going on around you. The championship of college football is the biggest of things every year.
I kind of disagree. I've always been a kind of like the championship game's cool and the national championship's important, but the season is the best part. Like the regular season is the best part of the football season and bowl season I really love. But like the national championship game for the last 8 years has been a blowout. There's rarely a close national championship game. That's not really, like, to me, it's the opposite of the Super Bowl. It's not like the crowning jewel of the season.
Too many games.
Anticlimax is what you're arguing?
Games.
It's how it's kind of felt every year.
I've always treated college football as like some sort of appetizer for the NFL. And so I like my college football to come before the NFL. I got Ravens and Bills, and then I was forced to watch something that I was interested in, but the product was not nearly as good.
This also, like, by the way, it is probably just psychological and not affecting too many people, but we spoke about it beforehand with Lucy and I think some with Jess, which is you see the little numbers next to the teams, too, and you see 7 versus 8 for the national championship, and you're like, even though it was the two best teams at the time.
Give me a 1-2.
Yeah, the seeding really threw everything off where you felt like you were getting a lesser-than national championship because you had low seeds in the tournament, and they were the best teams that were there.
I disagree with you. I don't think people even really
I saw
care
it and I
about
said,
what
nope.
the seeds were. Both, I mean, Ohio
people
State
did.
and Notre Dame finished 1-2 in the final AP poll.
Yeah.
And
No.
Notre Dame was,
I need to see it on my TV screen.
Isn't it?
Yeah.
Okay.
The 7 was okay because if I squint, it looks a little bit like a 1, but that 8 really threw me off.
Jessica, I cannot have one of these seasons of your lifetime. Please, video, tell me you can find that video of her sneezing. Please. One of the seasons of your lifetime, have it interrupted by, hey, at the end, it's going to be anticlimactic. When I don't know if 31-3 made you feel that way, or
I don't think it was anticlimactic. I guess I just feel like the national championship game every year feels like this, where it's like kind of randomly after the season ends, and especially this year because it went a week longer. Like both of these teams had school last week. Like it's just weird.
So you guys realize that what you're saying really is that the end of the college football season has now become to you, I'm tired of football. This is the last one. I'm kind of sad. Yeah, it's for the championship. But my God, what a holiday smorgasbord of gorging on football. And at the very end, I've just got like the feeling after Thanksgiving of I'm burpy and farty. I don't feel so good. And okay, thank you, football. Go away until next season.
I don't know if I could say I wouldn't go that far, but I think the football season sort of does climax around New Year's Day. Like that's like the big, that's why it made a lot of sense to have the semifinals on that day, and then you have like one more game after that for the title. But that's obviously not how it is with the 12-team playoff now. There's another week in between, and so it does sort of like taper off a lot more slowly. But either way, I think this game probably got like monster ratings. It was Ohio State and Notre Dame. I'm sure a ton of people watched.
So this is why I think, though, and I'd like to see what the numbers are because I'm sure of it. I'm sure that that we are expressing. I'm hearing you guys talk, and I'm like, what are you talking about? Like, and I'm hearing when friends of mine are saying, hey, the championship was played, as if there's so much sports going on all the time that, of course, the NBA regular season is now less important than it's ever been, even if you care deeply about the NBA.
Right.
Because you got just so much to occupy your time, and Billy wants to be on house arrest and just be with his kids and leave me alone. Give me the 40 minutes I can get in the bathroom
He
hiding.
said nothing about kids.
I
hiding
never
in the
mentioned
toilet.
kids or my family. You keep bringing that up. Greg, I was thinking because you mentioned designer like ankle monitors and ankle bracelets.
Yep.
You know, one of the problems with house arrest, I think, is that you have a certain number of people on house arrest at the same time, as you mentioned, 250,000 at any given time of the year.
Wild guess by me, right?
But like a lot of them, I mean, they're essentially paying their mortgage, they're paying rent or whatever, but they can't really leave. I feel like maybe we have an opportunity where we could set up like situations where like multiple people under house arrest cohabitate. You know what I mean? Maybe we set up like an apartment complex where it's just full of people on house arrest.
Right. A house arrest. A house arrest.
That's just jail.
I like that.
Come on. I can't get enough of that. I swear to you. I can't.
See, she said achoo.
She does say achoo. And I thought that was the exclusive domain of older women. I did not think that achoo, spoken cleanly, was a young person thing. Jessica, what other things about you other than your love of Columbo are just an ancient woman existing inside of you? And we'll get to Billy's thoughts on reinventing jail in a moment.
It really is.
Consider everyone in house arrest in the same place. It's
Just put them.
it's just jail.
No, you got it of the future.
Yeah, I
We're
love it.
headed there.
Yes.
Trust me when I tell you, we are headed to
Community house arrest.
living on pods in communities where we've given up our freedom so we don't have to see others. So we don't have to interact with anything human. I want to do everything digitally. Send me my food on a drone. Get away from me. Like, that's who we're going to become as a society.
Yep.
I don't want plans. Just let me stay at home.
Oh, plans suck.
The
Yo,
worst.
why haven't you gotten there yet, Dan? Why do you still think plans are fun?
He doesn't have kids.
Yeah. I mean, isn't that obvious? I have pets, and so I have my life because I don't have to be chasing around kids. I think it's why Jessica hates kids. Like,
Let her
they're
pet.
annoying, shouting shit monsters.
What a blessing, though, they
Shit
are.
monster.
Oh, they're the best. Love you, kids.
Just don't want to see you.
Why can't you just say no? Just say no. Don't go anywhere. Are you talking about like things
That's
you
not
can't?
how that works.
There's
Yeah,
things you
no.
can't say no to.
Oh,
Like what?
yeah,
Like
of course.
baptisms? I would say no to that.
Oh, no.
Oh, I
can't do
would
that.
go see
No.
your baby get dunked
Birthday
underwater.
party.
It's
You can't
easy
say
to
no.
sit there, not have kids, and tell other parents how easy it is to say no. It's not
Yeah.
easy. It's impossible.
And once you get married, that cute game of, things are voluntary is done.
Yeah.
You have to go to all
They're all
these
ball
things.
and chain.
Recent estimates say it's between 125 and 150,000 people under house arrest in the United States.
Really?
So off by about 100,000.
What an opportunity, though, for housing.
All right, so I'd like you to create a commercial campaign on behalf of house arrest. I'm Billy on behalf of the merits of house arrest, because I think you would get a following and it would be totally culty. Can I get back to what it is that I walked into this morning, though, which is Greg Cody, Hall of Fame voter, you heard all the arguments breaking out in the other room about CeCe Sabathia's not this, Billy Wagner's not that. And I yesterday made Mark Andrews an immortal, not just merely a Hall of Famer.
It's a weird day. Yeah.
An immortal. Yeah. So we are now arguing Hall of Fame in every corner and crevice of Meadowlark Media.
Yeah.
Good tight end, Mark Andrews.
Yeah.
He
Not
could-
immortal, though.
He could make the Hall someday.
He
No.
could, but he's not immortal,
he
is
could.
what we're saying.
No, you're right.
Delaney Walker has more catches than he does. I mean,
Well, Delaney was good too.
not immortal, though.
No, who's
yes, a good-
immortal? Who's immortal? Babe Ruth is immortal. I'll
Which
give you
tight
that.
end do you
Yes.
think would be hardest to kill?
Gronk.
I don't know.
I'm not sure.
No, I think you've got so many tight ends now in the sport.
And they're tough and,
Oh, my
and
God.
giant.
Dallas Goddard.
I don't know. Yeah, but I don't know how you'd kill McBride. What are you going to do to
I think
kill
you
McBride?
you can lure a certain number of tight ends just into a forest, and then anything can happen.
But Goddard stiff-armed the guy and then slowed down to stiff-arm the same guy again.
And then
I mean,
again, and then a third time. All you say is true, and yet if I were walking through the wilderness and George Kittle came out from behind a tree, I would run away.
You would be right to do so.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying this because I wish violence, obviously, on any tight ends. I'm just saying if we're literally doing immortal, I'm trying to figure out which one would live the longest.
Who would be easiest?
Aaron
I think
Hernandez.
Hernandez.
I mean-
I think Shannon Sharp lives the longest.
I say Mike Gesicki.
Somebody
We're taking guns out of it.
Okay, thank you, thank you. Let's do this just generally slightly more subtle than that.
Mm-hmm.
You can do it. I know you can. Gronk, can you get me the sound of Bob Einstein?
Oh, boy.
I want to tell the history of this because we've been praying at the altar of Gronk for a long time. I mean, what a majestic thing, polar bear, to see gallop across the secondary and change a position that Tony Gonzalez and Antonio Gates and Shannon Sharp had turned into, all of these guys are kind of like tweener power forwards in basketball. Monster athletes. And so the position starts to change, and this is an immortal. Bob Einstein is an immortal. Put it on the poll. Is Super Dave an immortal? This is how he talked about Gronk.
to go with Gronkowski, who should be tested for something. Because I've never seen a human being like that go off the field, and he like snorts to his teammates. There's no English or anything spoken.
He is made of circuits. You're
He
absolutely right.
really is. There's fire coming out of his helmet. And when he goes across the middle, forget it.
49ers and Redskins.
What do you think he says in the huddle besides slobbering and breathing and sneezing and stuff? Do you think he knows his own name when they say, Gronk, we're going to you? Or do they just tase him a little bit?
So good.
How you gonna kill Ebron?
Ooh.
Why are we killing people? I feel like I
Because
missed
Billy
something.
did that.
He
Because
took us
it's
there.
Wild
Yeah.
Billy Wednesdays.
No, it's
That's
just
why.
immortality. We're tying Bob. Unfortunately, we found out not an immortal.
Not immortal. Right.
Yeah.
I guess, yes.
Yes.
That is
T's
too
and P's
soon.
of the family.
That is
Correct.
too soon.
Oh, they'd like that joke.
That's too soon. They would like that joke.
Bob would love that joke.
He would like that.
I heard that at his funeral, he was handing out, like, they had cocktail napkins with some of his dirtiest jokes, and that's what was giving to the guests at his
We were so
funeral.
close to doing a remote from his funeral.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Speaking
What a
of,
weird sentence.
Yeah, seriously.
A live show.
Greg thinks Steve Martin's a bad actor.
Oh, yeah. No, we were talking about murders in the building. Or only, what's it called? Only murders
you
in the
got it.
building.
You got it.
And I think it's a poorly acted show.
Yeah.
You know, I don't think any of the main, Martin Short, famously a bad actor.
What?
He's a good, he's funny.
Overrated as an actor.
Yeah, he was good on SNL.
No,
He's
he
a
is.
comic actor.
Famously a bad
He's not
actor.
an
So
actor.
funny, Greg.
No.
You know,
This is an immortal. He's an immortal.
Martin Short
Is
Yes.
not. No, he is
an
not.
Yes.
immortal. You're giving out immortal too easily.
Right,
Exactly
just handing
right.
him out.
Jeez.
I mean,
Put it on the poll. Is Martin Short a comedy immortal? You guys are disrespectful, man. Jiminy Glick alone is a Hall of Famer. That's one of his characters. You guys are being, oh, come on.
I love Martin Short. I laugh every time I see. He doesn't even have to say anything. I'm just like, ah.
You guys are
funny.
disrespectful of career.
No.
Oh, my God.
Groucho Marx.
Blasphemous
was immortal.
turds.
Boom. Oh, Groucho.
Blasphemous turds.
Blasphemous turds. You guys are disrespectful of career. God.
No, come on, Martin Short.
Martin
please.
Short is better at what he does than anyone you've ever known is at anything.
You're afraid to offend Hollywood.
Yep. In the bag. All in the tape.
Wrong. I mean, jeez.
Am I? Is that right?
Yes.
Is that right? I'm afraid. So wait a minute. On behalf of
Nary a bad word about Hollywood.
Make-
Dan.
Say something bad.
Exactly
Make
right.
clear your
Hear it.
accusation. Hold on. Make
Take a
cle-
shot at
I-
Tinseltown,
make-
Dan.
Make
Jeez.
clear your accusation. You're telling me that my opinion of Martin Short is compromised
Yeah.
by my running the filter of I would not want to offend Hollywood here because
Right.
just an amorphous, faceless Hollywood. There's no one person here. It's just I don't want to say anything ill of Judd Apatow's neighbors. Like
Call them all phonies, Dan. Come on.
they are all phonies. And
Whoa.
It's a bridge too far.
Wow.
Wow. Careful
That's
there.
too
Might get back
much.
to Daddy Hollywood.
All phonies. Wow. I didn't call Martin Short a phony. I called him
Right.
a bad actor.
Yeah.
It's okay.
Yeah.
a bad actor.
Yeah.
He's
Overrated.
Okay,
he's very theatrical.
An overactor, maybe. What are we doing?
That's his character in that show, though. He's like he's a theater
theater guy.
producer.
Right. Yeah, true. But that's his stereotype. Like that's who he is in every role he's ever played.
Yep. He's always that guy.
Yeah.
Be a football player. Be a tight end. That that would
Right.
shock me.
Some
Yeah,
range.
kill him.
perhaps.
Exactly
Yeah.
right. Martin
Right.
Short, tight end.
Yeah.
Are there any under actors out there? Who underacts?
I think there are under actors.
Vin Diesel.
Yes.
Yeah.
He's just Vin Diesel.
Please tell me.
It's not even
just
acting.
Please
He
tell
thinks
me.
he's Dominic Toretto.
Please tell me that I'm talking
is.
to a room full of people that don't know what Martin Short has done with those Glick celebrity
Oh, they're the
interviews.
best.
We all
They're the
know.
best.
I remember the character.
Because
Okay,
it's
but-
immortal.
Okay, but it's just that. That's just one. That like.
So do something else. That's all Greg's saying.
Yeah.
Be something other than Martin Short.
Right. Name 10 other characters
Yep.
that he's done.
Go ahead. We're waiting.
10, 15.
10
Go
characters
ahead.
of any
Go.
actor, Greg.
I'm counting.
Rambo.
You just
Rocky.
named 10 actors. How about
Jiminy
that?
Glick.
Yeah.
And that's a that's a makeup thing.
Oliver Putnam.
You know, half of the
Tango.
fun there is
So
put
whether
100
you
pounds
believe, okay, I don't know how you're 70 years old, and I don't know how you think of comedy legends, but Steve Martin and Martin Short touring the country, doing comedy / music.
yeah. I've seen their show.
Well, okay, but Steve Martin's career is he was the best stand-up comic in the world, and then left in his 30s because he just wanted to do other things, and then did all of the other things, and now teams up with Martin Short, so the two of them still have a hit TV show in their 70s and 80s, and you disrespect that? Like,
Look, I saw Steve Martin when he had an arrow through his head. I saw him when he was a stand-up comic,
Right.
long before the acting.
You saw The Jerk.
Yeah, right.
Bona fides.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And so I respect Steve Martin. Steve Martin is a lot closer to immortal than Martin Short.
No doubt.
agreed.
No criticism meant to Martin. I
Did
mean,
this start
Martin
with
Short,
Steve Martin
man,
as a bad actor?
It did.
It did. 'cause
did,
You
yeah.
said they were both.
Yeah.
You said all
Right.
3 of them were bad.
Yeah, bad actors. Yeah.
Greetings to all. Welcome to 2022. Omicron is on the run, and away it went. But oops, there goes gravity, and here comes a new variant. Omaha, Corona, Hut 1, Hut 2, nothing infects the Super Bowl, and nothing stops football.
Racism, greed, trauma to brain and spine. And yet, I cannot look away. Heroes are dead. Science has their heads. Oh, is there no escape from here? I need to know. It eats my soul. Nothing stops the NFL. Is this heaven or hell? I can't tell. It's human cockfighting. CTE prayer circles. They blackballed the blackballer. They tried to end racism by stenciling it in the end zone. Billionaire boys using millionaires as toys. It's all immoral, all unethical. Ooh, the witching hour. Nothing stops the NFL. Is this heaven or hell? I can't tell. It's Urban and Snyder and Flores and Gruden, but Kyler, but Kelsey, but Cooper, but Canty. It's cheating and tanking and bounties and banking.
This episode of the Dan Le Batard Show with Stugotz is presented by Smirnoff. We do game days. Please drink responsibly. The Smirnoff Company, New York, New York.
Chris, you and me know, like very few people, except perhaps your mother, Greg Cody's wife, how stubborn he is about admitting when he is wrong. Greg Cody just muttered under his breath in a shocking statement I could not believe that I was hearing out loud. Yeah, Martin Short, I think I'm full of shit on that one.
Yeah, I have to admit it. I did a little research.
Yeah.
I do think his acting in Only Murders in the Building is theatrically overacting.
That's what he is. Like he
Right.
does some of that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
little
That's
too
not my
much.
fault.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Well, why are
Thank
you now full of shit?
Well, because he's an accomplished. He's been around a while.
You didn't realize that before?
Yeah, I mean he's bigger in. The more I talk, the more I'm going to start criticizing him again.
Yeah.
Obviously, he's much bigger in Canada than he is stateside.
Well, have you seen him in the Canada Pavilion at Epcot Center in Disney World?
I have not. No.
Oh my God, he takes you on a tour. It's 360
Really?
degrees around you. Yeah,
It's great, yeah.
I think that maybe they removed that, but it was
What?
a 360-degree thing. You'd see
that
Niagara
the Ellen
Falls,
thing?
everything.
But I never got
Is
to
it
go.
Ellen now? Oh,
Ellen at
boy.
one
No,
point
I remember
did
the
something.
Ellen thing. That was
an Ellen
different.
thing.
It was like dinosaurs or something.
Enough with dinosaurs.
Is Martin Short
past in the
an
past.
immortal? Juju, put it on the poll, please, at Le Batard Show.
He's not. He's been nominated 29 times. He's won 3 awards. He's
There you
like, and the 3 times he won, everyone was bored. They were yawning. No one wanted Martin Short to
awards-
win.
so
Yeah.
awards are that's the way we're.
He's invited to the dance, but no one wants to actually
I would
see
like
him dance.
a personal record book of entertainment with Stugotz, who actually deserves the Oscars and who doesn't.
Well, speaking of that, Stugotz, I don't know. I'm assuming you don't watch Only Murders in the Building.
No, I don't watch.
Well, you know who's been in the last 2 seasons of Only Murders in the Building. Nominated a bunch of times, never
No,
winning
we're
anything.
not doing this again. No, change the subject.
Meryl?
Yeah,
Oh,
Meryl.
God.
And guess who she's dating on the show?
Who?
Martin.
Well, also
And
maybe
in real life.
Yeah,
Are they in real life for real?
real life
It's a rumor. Her and her husband got divorced recently.
Wow.
Oh, wow.
Dan, did you hear that?
That,
Mr.
that,
Streep.
that can't be.
What's Tinseltown telling you,
Mr.
Dano?
Gummer.
Yeah.
I don't want to offend anyone in Hollywood.
Yeah,
I'll
right.
keep
We
my
know.
opinions
He's
to
a softer.
myself on that. I am happy that we have found Lucy. She has returned from the national championship. I am told, and I don't know, I don't want to pit Lucy against Jessica here, but somebody's got to break the news spoken out loud of who cut this TSA line. What media member cut this TSA line? Because I don't know. Jessica wasn't willing to smoke the person out in shame, but did say that we would all know who the person was. Lucy, do you know who the person was?
There were, let's just say there were a couple.
What?
Wow.
I saw 2 people, but I'm not going to throw anybody under the bus. I will throw myself under the bus, and I believe that I accidentally cut the line.
How do you accidentally cut a line?
Petty play.
Yeah, no, let me tell you. So I get to the airport 2 hours early.
Talk
I
slowly.
probably
I'm
should have
writing it
gotten
down.
there-
Okay.
Okay, I probably should have gotten there a little earlier. I walk in, and there's no line. It is just like felt like thousands of people just all herded together. There was like a tiny semblance of a line. So I got in what I thought was that line. No one knows what's going on. It's almost all Notre Dame fans. So everyone's kind of in a bad mood to begin with. And then they're telling you, like, hey, you're going to have to wait 3 hours for security. I'm like, fine, whatever. I know there's another flight. I'm very chill about flight stuff. It goes wrong. What are you going to do? And then they start like trying to put lines together. It's not going well. I see 2 media members. They're behind me in line. I'm like, oh, I know who they are. I turn around and I see them just go ahead. I said, whoa, you can do that? I did not do that. I stayed where I was. Then all of these people came together. So many people were cutting me in line that I just cut a couple people in line because they cut me in line. And then there was this one woman with blonde hair and red pants. I don't know if that rings a bell for anybody. She was atrociously cutting the line. I almost said something to her, but then I realized, you know what? I don't care that much.
What was your cut strategy? Looking at the phone, looking up, acting like you were looking at like the The flight.
There was no strategy other than me turning around and saying, "Oh, I think those people were actually ahead of me. My bad."
Lucy,
Whoops. It was totally accidental. It was the worst I've ever seen an airport. I felt like I was in war.
So
it was insane.
All right, Lucy, that's aggressive language. Lucy, I think you
have you been to Hartsfield?
I think you and Jessica are reporting nationally total shit show. That's what you're reporting. Just enormous shit show. Commerce comes to college football. Corporate comes to college football. Shit show.
It got worse after I left. So it probably took me a bit, an hour 15 minutes to get through security. And it got more organized after I left, but it got busier when I was there were no lines outside. There were lines outside by the time I boarded my plane where you were in TSA pre-check line, which was 90 minutes long, where general boarding was 3 hours long. And you were outside in Atlanta, which was in the polar vortex. So it was 15 degrees outside. Mm-hmm. I've never seen anything like it. I did make my flight. I got to my gate 5 minutes before boarding. First class was empty. The plane was completely empty because so many people missed their flights.
First class.
Dan, I know you're feeling this, but is someone going to name names? I mean, anyone?
Yeah, name names.
I named myself.
No, that's not good enough. That's not good enough. I need at least give us some hints here on who we can shame, who we can chase as a line cutter and a security risk to all of us.
If we make guesses, will you guys tell us if we're right?
No, but I'll give you a hint.
Okay.
I'll give you a hint.
All right, I'll take the hint, but this is awful. The fact that you guys won't get us closer to the truth as media members is why people hate the media.
Oh, that's okay.
Paid for. My money's on Kevin Nagandi.
Ooh, that's a good one.
No.
Wow.
But I'll give you a hint. This one's not going to be shocking. They were men.
Huh.
Wait, that report on college football? That doesn't sound right.
White men?
Yeah, no, it's crazy. They
White
never
men?
act like that.
White men?
Yeah.
Classic Lyles.
They were white men.
Trevor Maddich.
Nope.
He would never do that. He honors the
you get
line.
it right,
He does. He takes a line seriously.
He would never
I
do
don't blame
that.
anyone except for that one lady in red
Chris
pants.
Cody, I insist right now that you take that back.
Thank
I will
you.
not have
Chris,
to apologize.
Thank
Chris,
you. Yes.
you will not, Chris.
Jeez.
You will not disrespect the honor. Trevor,
Until this moment.
Trevor Maddich would never,
Ever.
I had no idea.
Yeah.
would never cut a line.
No one takes a line more seriously than Trevor Maddich.
Nobody.
No one.
Nobody. He'll keep everyone else in line. That would never happen on Trevor Maddich's watch. Never. No one would cut a line. You wouldn't have all of these prepubescent Lucy's running around in the media.
What?
I don't know if you're allowed to call me prepubescent.
Corso.
I'm doing it through Trevor Maddich's eyes.
Well, I don't know if he's allowed to call me that either.
How bad was it? How bad was the entire coverage of everything?
The airport was terrible. The game experience was interesting because it was so cold. It was freezing. You guys are lucky you're talking to me today. I got windburn on my face. I looked like I had terrible blush for days. It was awful. But the game was fun. They had the speaker too loud, which was kind of annoying. And they had an in-game DJ.
Is this the DJ complaint that Jessica was making? How bad was this?
DJ was bad. I'm a firm believer that, especially in college football, you should never have a DJ. It's fine to have someone in the back putting on music. The University of Georgia had the best music I've ever seen at a football game. They were very, very good. But I don't want to be hearing from a DJ throughout the game. And it would go from they did a lot of good sort of timeout hits about, MLK Day. So they had Black historians come and talk about these famous Black athletes who kind of paved the way at Notre Dame and Ohio State. And then it would go to the DJ and begin singing along to Hot to Go or something. He wasn't just playing music, he was singing it. And the speakers were so loud. It was just, it was too much. And he was trying his best. So I don't want to shit on him, but try less.
Are we that show now? Does this sound bad to people? The idea of you get to go to the championship game, but it becomes such a logistics nightmare that even Jessica, who's going to celebrate her team, might have had a bad time, even if that team had won, just because of how everything outside of the game felt.
I don't know if I wouldn't go that far, but it was definitely not a setup for a city that was 20 degrees and people there was so much outside walking and it was freezing and there needed to be more bartenders per capita. That's my main complaint. We need to bring in the bartenders for the national championship game. There's thousands of Irish Catholics descending on your city. They want to wake up at 8 a.m. and they want to drink. And they want to drink Guinness and they want to drink all your beer. Yeah. Let them have that chance.
I think Jessica could win a political campaign on the slogan "More bartenders per capita."
Mm-hmm.
How was the energy, Lucy? We've sent you to some bad ones, right? We've sent you to some atmospheres that get corporate, and that some of the soul of college football gets lost because the higher you get to the money, the colder some of these things can be. Were you able to get some access on this one that felt like you were a part of a big energy?
Jess actually watched the first half of the game with us, and she said something where it was I feel like this is kind of an NFL energy, where I felt that too. And I don't know if it was just the stadium or sometimes I think that when they go to these neutral site games, they play so much into okay, it's a neutral site game, so we need a DJ. We need, these silly little games during these media timeouts or whatever, where I kind of wish they had introduced more of okay, here's a song Ohio State likes to play, where when we went to the Big Ten championship game, they did a pretty decent job of, each sort of break would be designated to a certain fan base. So it kind of reminded you of being in Happy Valley or being in Eugene. And I didn't really get that here. It ended up being a much better game than I anticipated. By halftime, I was like, oh, buddy, we're in for one. This is not going to be good. But obviously turned around. So the energy stayed up. But it was you risk that every single time you go to a neutral site college football game. I think the only real neutral site college football game that's awesome is Red River.
Brock Osweiler.
No.
Honestly, not far,
Good
though,
guess.
for one reason. But I won't say what that reason is. But yeah, I don't know. The in-game entertainment, I think, does it had weird NFL energy to start because there was a lot of show us the marching bands. I don't know. I love the marching bands. Maybe I'm alone on that one, but
no, love them.
Give
They're
me more
awesome.
marching bands.
Brock Heward.
Tim Tebow.
Tebow cutting
no.
a line would be
Tebow would be
amazing.
great.
Put it on.
That would have been awesome. I
Tebow
would
flying
have filmed
commercial.
Put it on the poll.
Funnier.
At Le Batard Show. Marching bands. Do you love marching bands? I'm assuming, forgive me for this, because I'm guessing that Chris Fowler and Kirk Herbstreit go wherever they want in whatever city they're in, right? We're talking, that's a whole nother class of
Different
flying.
airport, Dan.
That's a whole nother class of flying. You guys are talking about media members you're looking to shame who aren't actually from the top of the food chain in media. You guys are looking to smoke out somebody who's not a power broker.
Like Joel Klatt.
I feel like he's a power broker.
Really?
And no, it wasn't him.
It wasn't him. How about the Bear?
Not him.
The Bear?
Nope.
No. Huh.
Joe Tess?
Nope.
The first drive was also so long that we had so many long commercial breaks in the second quarter, and that really, really dragged things out, Lucy. I don't know about you. I'm we're doing back-to-back video board. Which helmet is the football under games in a row?
God.
I'm ugh.
Love that.
Worst stadium game ever.
What?
Ugh. Just inane.
You guys,
Sounds like someone that can't figure it out to me.
Tom Luganbill.
Who wants to pay that much
No.
attention?
You have to.
You
They
can't.
move-
I
they
knew
move
it.
so fast.
You're the
I
one.
knew it. You
You're the
couldn't
one. You
figure
hear
it
the
out.
crowd shouting it, and then you act like you watched it.
I don't. I act like I didn't watch it, even if I did.
Dave
'Cause you
Fleming?
You can't keep up, Greg.
I
Luganbill's
don't
a
wanna
power
keep up.
broker.
Really?
Why aren't we ratting out whoever this was who cut in line?
Yeah.
Why are we
Got to
protecting?
be
not.
someone important.
Out with it.
Yeah.
Why are we protecting
Feinbaum.
people?
I got to tell you guys.
No, but he sat behind me on a flight,
I have
and
to,
I was so nervous because I knew he was going to be watching my screen.
I don't want to. I really don't want to grandfather this, but I do want to ask. I don't want to sit here and be syrupy about nostalgic, romantic times that didn't exist. I don't want to be pastoral or precious about football. But when you tell me the college football national championship feels like an NFL stadium, that doesn't sound right to me. And maybe it doesn't matter. Maybe at the altar of capitalism we sacrifice all things, and so the atmosphere at the stadium doesn't. The energy, none of it matters because all that matters is what's televised.
No, atmosphere I think matters more to college football than any other sport. You can't take a college sport, I know it's professional, they're paying the players, and bring it to an NFL indoor stadium in a city that's really not prepared for something like that. You can't do it. I propose the Rose Bowl for every national championship game.
What I would say to all of you is that if I took Notre Dame's fan base and threw it against most major cities, they would be able to handle that party in a way that would be a lifetime party. Like, I don't know what happened, but to me, what you're describing, I've been to national championship games, and they do have a corporate feel, more antiseptic, going way back. But for you guys to love college football this way, at least in part because of those atmospheres, how corporate was that? Like, what's this video that I'm tossing to here, Lucy? Is it a celebration of the sport as punctuation, or is it you walking through a strip mall sad because the corporate sponsors have bought everything?
It's C, none of the above. So we went to the SEC championship game at Mercedes-Benz last year, and we were shocked by how crappy the atmosphere was.
Right, you had the same complaints last year, yes.
Yeah, Atlanta is also the way that stadium is kind of located and what's around it. It's just not ideal for tailgating, and you combine that with the weather. So we were like, well, this is a tough situation that we're in. We knew what we were going into. Plus, we knew it was the last off-roading of the year, so if I messed up, there wouldn't be that many consequences. So we went to the Aquarium instead.
Safe place.
Really?
And it was awesome.
This is what you did with the expense account. You went to the Aquarium with Rose instead of going to the national championship game.
No, we also went to the World of Coke as well. We went to both.
The World of Coke?
I thought that was in Miami. I found Dan. Just a joke. Ha 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 ha. I need a job, please. Don't fire me. Hi, Dan. It's Lucy, and we were at the national championship, the last game of the season, the last off-roading of the season. Now I have some good news and some bad news. Bad news is it is 12 degrees outside, and I'm not exaggerating. It is literally so cold. No one's tailgating. No one's doing anything. Good news is no one's tailgating, no one's doing anything, and it's the last off-roading of the season, so we're going to do whatever we want today. So I think we're going to go to the Aquarium, maybe the World of Coke. We're really just going to live Atlanta up like the tourists that we are. This is what I look like after 20 weeks on the road, 20 college football games. Any predictions for the game today? Notre Dame or Ohio State? How does it smell?
Like fish.
Oh, it does fit. It's so gross. Whoa, they move fast. These guys would go for at least $1 million in the portal. Do you agree with Chris Cody's take that you should switch sport allegiances? That dolphin has a very foul mouth. Jesus. They do not agree. We're at the World of Coke now. We're going to try a bunch of soda. This is roast before the soda.
Yes.
Nothing beats a Diet Coke.
Too sweet for me.
Bad.
Too sweet.
Cough medicine.
Not bad.
I don't love it. I don't think that's half bad. So far, no one from Notre Dame has wanted to talk to us. So this is how I imagine an interview with a Notre Dame fan would go. Hey, do you think Marcus Freeman is super hot? Yes, I do. He's so hot. Do you miss Brian Kelly? Not even at all. I hate that guy. He's the worst. Do you like dressing up like a leprechaun? Yeah, it's not weird that I'm a grown adult dressing up as a leprechaun. It's really cool and awesome. Do you know Jessica Smetana? Yeah, I do. She's perfect. She's the love of my life. She's amazing. Awesome. Do you watch the Le Batard Show? No. And that's it. Okay. How confident are we feeling today?
1,000% confident. I mean, we're here to play, but it's not really competition.
What's the deal with the hat?
The hat was first made in 1987 in Keenan Hall on campus for the national championship season then. We didn't know it at the time.
Does Ryan Day dye his beard?
No.
Yes.
That's what it's supposed to
look like. I kissed a skunk, and look at Ryan Day. No, he dyes his beard.
I think he might use Just for Men, I'm not going to lie.
No, he's perfect. That man has never made a mistake in his life.
But dyeing your beard's not a mistake. What do you guys miss most about Brian Kelly?
Absolutely nothing.
Not even how red his face got? Is losing to that team maybe a good thing?
Hell no. God, losing to that team up north is never a good thing.
If there are any takeaways from this, the expanded playoff works still. It matters. With a loss to Michigan and Oregon, Ohio State wouldn't have made it. And now they're here and they're national champions. And they're going to go down as one of the better national champions of all time. So this ruled. I am so tired in general and from a long, fun day in Atlanta. Thank you for this opportunity. It never feels real. I don't know what I'm going to do until August. I vote nothing. But I don't think Meadowlark will approve that.
All right, we got a problem on our hands. She's a rising star and diva, and so she goes to these things, and she just spends a bunch of money and goes to an aquarium. But while I was...
In the world of Coke.
Yeah, being outraged by that as a frivolous expense on behalf of the company, us funding her and Rose just doing things together, Stugotz whispered in my ear during that segment something that was at once truly, truly shocking and not shocking at all. Which is that Jeremy had his bachelor party at that aquarium.
I did. Yeah, part of my bachelor party. We went to the Georgia Aquarium. It was a dream.
He said part of. Nice.
Part of.
How was it a dream?
Oh.
I mean,
Have you ever seen a 10-foot whale shark, Stugotz?
Give a lap dance.
baby.
It was amazing. I had the time of my life at that Georgia Aquarium on my bachelor
All right,
party.
so Lucy is...
Definitely didn't ingest anything to make it a little more fun.
You should get rid of your best man. I mean, just get him out of your life. Seriously.
My brother.
Put it on the poll at Le Batard Show. Do you fire your best man if the bachelor party's at the aquarium?
It is shocking until you realize it's
No,
Jeremy.
not at all.
Right?
But
I knew it wouldn't be.
It is a rare thing to have something be truly, truly shocking, and then not surprising. Not surprising. Lucy, I can't handle what's going on with you're coming now between the money, between corporate. Meadowlark would like to have a good relationship with Venmo. Venmo would like to be supporting a fine bucket that is working because it accrues money. Greg Cody hasn't paid his fines. He owes $11 or $12 from the other day. I have now installed Venmo, and I will historically make my payment as soon as you guys tell me the handle. I need the handle. I don't know where I'm sending this.
You did it yourself? The installation?
No, I told you already. Valerie installed it
she
for
did it.
me.
Okay, good. Sorry.
I've never used Venmo
There
before.
you go.
I know you're there for me to make fun of me at any time.
No, I was
That's
just
really
wondering.
doing a good sell here for Venmo. It's great. It's very easy
It
to
is
use.
very
we all
easy.
know how to do it.
It is
Super easy.
Couldn't be easier.
You want me to set up the handle? I'll send myself some money.
I don't want. Yes,
Just as
no.
a test.
Just to make
make
sure it's
it works.
working.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Right.
$1 or
We're
two.
not allowed-
1-800 Stugotz.
We're not allowed to say what the handle is on the air. 1-800 Stugotz. Let's do that.
That's
Let's
the Venmo number.
Let's Stugotz, get on that right now.
Okay.
Buy that.
All right.
Make sure to buy before somebody else does.
It's too late already.
1-800 Stugotz.
I'm sure it's too late, but I'll give it a try.
Okay.
What year was the peak for those 1-800 jokes? You know, like just are we still doing 1-800 numbers?
Yeah, some of them are 188 now. 888.
Put it on the
Which
poll
doesn't make any
at Le
sense.
Batard Show. Are we still doing 1-800 numbers? Lucy and Chris, where are we with the Venmo fine bucket, which right now doesn't have money in it? And I would like for people to start paying their fines. Lucy killed a person on air, owes $50, refuses to pay it.
We came up last week with the idea. Lucy wants to go to the Super Bowl, and she hasn't paid her fines. So we partner with Venmo, and we came up with the Lucy Super Bowl Challenge.
Did we partner or did we pardon her? Did we partner with Venmo or did we pardon her with Venmo?
Okay, Oprah.
Yeah,
Topical joke.
We both. The answer is yes to both those questions. So the internet, we did hashtag Lucy Challenge. You can still send in submissions if you'd like, but I have some here, Lucy, for you to, I don't know who's deciding this. I guess Dan is. The one that I like the most is that Lucy, in order to go to the Super Bowl on behalf of Venmo, needs to spend an entire day with the real Emily.
She would kill me.
Ooh, that would not go
I can't
well.
do that.
That would not go
She's also
well.
blocked me on everything. I wouldn't be able to get a hold of her.
whole
She even
day.
blocked me on Venmo.
A whole day? No, you'd have to have a phone call between them, a soul-bearing conversation to see if there can be any connection. They're not going to be in each other's presence for a day. That's very harsh. Lucy
Her
says,
name in my phone is the literal worst human alive.
Okay, hold on a second. I have a question about this relationship with Emily. Did she block you before you did stuff like this on air? Because I think an argument can be made that you are more of a bully to Emily than she ever was to you by publicly shaming her.
I do sort of agree with that take a little bit. However, she blocked me the second we moved out. So I
Okay,
don't
good.
think she knows any of this is happening.
Let her have it. She sucks.
We don't even know if her real name is Emily. That might be a lie. I may have given you a fake name.
You would never cyberbully. That was something, and we can't trust anything you say.
I
It's
would
why
cyberbully.
It's why you're a rising star in this business, because it's disinformation, and then you go and do things at the national championship game that aren't about the national championship.
Stanford Steve.
No.
Oh.
Not a bad guess, though.
Good guess, though.
Thank you.
So do we want more submissions
SVP?
here? How do we feel? So is the Emily
No.
one not happening? Like that's not happening?
Oh, no. I'll quit this job before I spend time with her.
Okay, excellent. So we're negotiating down on this one. Do you have something else here? I don't think it's for Lucy to decide, but I guess how does this work? Because the audience is deciding.
Well, I
Venmo
saw some
is
really
deciding.
great submissions that I'd be happy to read that people submitted that I said, fine.
What,
I'll
it's
do
like
that.
Lucy gets a shopping spree at Neiman Marcus? Is that the one
Yeah,
that you liked?
I saw that one. I thought that one seemed really fair. I saw one that said Lucy's punishment should be she goes to a bookstore and has a lovely day. And that kind of feels like a good choice, right? I saw one that it said Dan should pay my student loans. And I said, well, that feels like a really good challenge.
That'll teach you, yeah.
What about
Yeah, I really will.
what about in one day watching all the Rocky movies and live streaming it?
That's heaven.
How many movies are there?
It's, what is it, 8 now?
Yeah, you don't have to watch 5 though. I mean,
Is it 8 or 9? Because those are the Creed movies too, right?
there's Rocky
Does it
1
carry
through
over?
4. You could skip 5, and then I think it gets to Creed. So there's
No,
2 or 3
Yeah,
Creeds. I
doesn't
think.
count.
Yeah.
Attend a UM game and tailgate with Mike Ryan. Eat,
Oh, there's no tailgates there. You can't do that.
eat mayo covered Pop Tart.
Not doing that.
Oh, I like that idea.
Why not?
You like
Because
that
I don't want
idea?
to.
Yeah. I like her eating that, not me. I wouldn't eat
Lucy gets a spa day? That was a really good suggestion. I don't know who sent that in.
I'm not sure this is going to work
So
out.
we're still spitballing. Send us your submissions.
Excellent.
Hashtag Lucy Challenge. Remember, it's presented by Venmo.
All right.
We want to get Lucy to the Super Bowl. Send us good challenges.
All right, Lucy, thank you.
I
for your
touched
time.
a little stingray. I feel like that should count.
That counts.
It was gross.
Her life was on the line,
Lucy,
Dan.
we're
Steve
gonna
Irwin
have-
died
It
that
was.
way. Yeah.
We are going to have to negotiate this off
R.I.P.,
air.
not
Another
immortal.
disaster. We do not know how to take care of our sponsors on anything. It's a rambunctious group of people that cannot
But that
be
stingray
controlled.
did a hell of a striptease for Jer Bear.
That
You wouldn't believe.
it's just ridiculous.
What a stinger that one had.
Sting is in Only Murders in the Building, too. I thought he was a good actor in that. What about you,
come
Greg?
on.
Nah, I didn't know he was in it. I must have missed that episode.
It was several.
So Lucy did the first part of the challenge. Check off that for putting her life on the line with the stingray. What's next?
What a stinger that one had.
I enjoyed it.
I had such a great moment yesterday, Dan, that you would love. Speaking of bookstores, that it was like the most genuine and honest moment. That was the least surprising thing ever, where we were in the commissary over there, and Taylor walks up to Stugotz and goes, "Stugotz, congratulations, audiobooks out today." He goes, "It is." Had no clue that his
Wasn't
audiobook
expecting
was
it,
out.
to be
Yeah.
honest with you. Yeah.
It has been a stunning thing
StugotzBook.com.
to witness next to him just taking everything for granted and still cashing in. It is a marvel. It's one of the best jokes ever told.
I forgot about the date.
I could not believe he had no idea it was the release date for his own audiobook.
Billy, it's the joke that
Busy
keeps
day.
on giving, because I would say, in general, Stugotz publishing a book, the starting point on that is, my God, what a magical gift.
Yeah.
Taylor wandering in and finding out that he's not only not read his own book, but couldn't be bothered to do the audiobook in time for the first time in Random House history. And because he couldn't be paid to even read his own book that many of us wrote for him. And for that to be a cash cow is an amazing gift and an amazing grift.
All true, except I read the book. I mean, listen to the audiobook, StugotzBook.com.
All right,
I
the
had
audio-
to read it.
The
yes.
audiobook is out. So finally, they cornered Stugotz. This was supposed to come out when the book came out.
Yeah, yeah.
They were supposed to happen simultaneously.
Yeah, and just teaching you the book game because you've never written a book. Greg and I have.
Right.
We have another edition of the audiobook, a special edition coming out on Father's Day.
Nice.
Speaking of grifts.
Very nice.
A special of your book coming out on
A
Father's Day?
special edition, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, yeah.
Why is it special?
You're reading it.
Okay.
Did you just call your own book a grift?
I'll get right on it.
I mean, isn't it obvious? It
But
is.
don't say that part.
No, but I'm just saying that's what they teach you in the book industry. Okay, I learned this a long time ago. Right? They teach you, hey, The book is never, ever finished. It's never done. We never stop selling the book. There's always a Father's Day, a Mother's Day right around the corner.
Valentine's Day, Happy New Year.
Stephen King's
Arbor
gonna
Day
like shoot
special.
you or something. You cannot be
Billy.
putting out these author secrets.
Billy, I will tell you that we have done very few things better than have Greg Cody and Stugotz be vigilant protectors of the written word in 2025. Caretakers for written causes in 2025. You have two wonderful soldiers here, literate people, keeping bookstores and reading alive. Not like your parents or grandparents did it in an old-fashioned book, only in a book that you can hold in your hands in the bathroom, but also available by Kindle if you want to read it that way. Available in all the ways that you get books. I've seen them in Canada. Stugotz's book has genuine giant distribution. Some people sent us books from a grocery store somewhere.
I was sent a picture from a Key West bookstore, and thank you to everyone at Key West, that the book was sold out. The guy who took the picture was purchasing the final book in that store. It's amazing. Thank you to everyone. Seriously.
Stugotz and Greg Cody protecting the written word.
I mean, they're not, though. Like, they're betraying the written word. They've called it a grift themselves. You guys are like the magicians that go and reveal the secrets, like on TikTok.
While they're doing the act.
It's me. It's not Greg. I want Greg to distance himself from this.
They are live streaming the grift right now. StugottzBook.com. He's giving you play-by-play on how it telestrates. What's special about the special edition? I said it's special.
Here's another secret, okay? If, God forbid, it's not going to happen, but if the Phoenix Suns make it to the NBA Finals, do we start promoting the book like it's new again? I mean, Kevin Durant, championship rings. This is amazing. Let's hope it happens. It won't, but let's hope it happens.
Off of the news, well, they might get Jimmy Butler.
course.
Jimmy Butler came
I
out
don't have a chapter about
yesterday.
him.
Jimmy Butler came out yesterday wearing Phoenix Suns sneakers.
Right.
It is the lamest escalation of these things that there has ever been.
Tripling down.
Didn't the Suns like acquire a bunch of first-round picks?
Yeah.
But like the Heat don't trade for picks. They don't value picks. That's not the move to get him.
I think they've run out of options, though, with Jimmy Butler, no? Like, if they have to take picks, they have to take picks. He doesn't want to be here.
So the picks will be in part the package for them, but it's probably more to sweeten the pot for someone else to take on the Bradley Beal contract, and that's why they acquired 3. So their 2031 first-round pick that they traded will probably be a really good pick. This is what Danny Ainge does. He essentially shorts other teams and says, you're going to be bad by this point, and that pick is going to be valuable to me. It's how he got Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown. So he was willing to trade 3 of the worst picks of a whole bunch that they already had over the next few years so that those can just be distributed out from Phoenix.
Let's do this, though, because I know everyone listening to this is good and tired of stop talking to me about a 35-year-old malcontent from Miami who can't get joy.
Mike Ryan?
From playing for $40 and $50 million a year.
He was the first 35-year-old I could think of. It wasn't a personal attack.
You nailed it.
When
he wishes he was 35.
Yes, his Instagram knows he's about to be 40.
The way Dan wishes he was 50, like he said before.
The Jimmy Butler parts of the story, though, the one part that I would say now graduates to interesting to me, right? Not the silly pettinesses. Once you get to Stugotz, this is pretty rare. The owner needs to meet.
Yeah.
Like you've got to bypass Riley because now we're going to go.
Pat Riley,
we're going to go talk to the owner about like how do we figure out what works here. You got Bradley Beal's got a no trade. You can hammer us from every angle if you wish to make this messy. But this part to me is where I take the information that Jeremy is giving me about super awkward locker room now, where all the other players know they have this thing that used to be running the team. We were all good when that conflict was running the team and the fuel to the team. But then when Bam and Hero get more of the team and he doesn't like that so much, more of the usage rate, now all of a sudden this is a really awkward workplace. And I dare say, outside of sports, a toxic one. I'm guessing that there's going to be a lot like that. If we weren't in the world of sports, this would be a workplace right now that's awkward enough that it creates the following in a language only the people in that locker room would understand. on the court when you're losing to Portland that way. Can you tell if Jimmy Butler is trying his hardest when he gets no free throws and doesn't get any steals? Are we really playing defense the way Jimmy Butler plays defense when he cares the most? And do you bench that if you're supposed to make more of a scene because you're going to make this work? Because we can't tell if you're trying your hardest on every possession or comparative to what it is you've done in the past, but your teammates can. And when you lose at home to that Portland team, Stugotz, an embarrassment of a Portland team.
Yep, 15 and 28 now.
But you lose at home and you're giving up a bunch of points and your credo is defense, and Jimmy Butler has played aggressive defense for 4 years when he really cares about playing defense. Can you tell if he's trying his hardest when I've lived long enough to see a whole bunch of people watch LeBron James at the end of his Cavs career, see him get a triple-double in a loss against the Celtics in the playoffs, and say he quit in the game because he can put up the numbers any damn way because he's that good, and trick you into believing that he's playing as hard as he can. The Miami Heat still don't believe, Stugotz. That last Spurs final where the Heat got blown out by the Spurs and LeBron had good numbers, the Heat don't believe he was trying his hardest in that series to win that series.
I agree with the Heat. I said it then. I still agree with them. I mean, he could put up those numbers in his sleep.
Do you think you could tell? To me, that's the.
So what happens is when you have this type of work environment where the best player, the star player, your biggest star, is disgruntled, then what happens is you're left to ask those questions. That's the product of the workplace environment. You are now left to question, is Jimmy Butler actually trying his hardest when he's playing basketball? And I don't have the answer. I don't.
No, but to Dan's point, players know. Like, you can't tell it from the box score. You can't even tell it from no steals.
Right.
But the players know. They feel it. They see it in a way that we don't. You know, and I think this preceded his suspension. You know, when he's missing 5 games because of an illness, that sounds like he didn't want to play.
Yep.
And they were giving him the option to not play before they suspended him.
The Heat forced 0 turnovers in the first half yesterday against the Portland Trailblazers. That shows you just about everything you need to know about where their entire team's energy and effort level were in the second and third quarter in particular. But this is wearing on these guys. Like Dan said, like the locker room is awkward and uncomfortable. Both Eric Spoelstra and the players are having to do press conferences where it's acknowledged, but they won't really talk about what's going on with Jimmy. You know, we don't know as media whether Jimmy's going to speak, whether he's not going to speak. He doesn't speak after yesterday's game, despite wearing the Suns colorway sneakers. The players after Friday night's game, there were players in that locker room as the media standing around going, he's not going to speak. He's not going to talk to you guys. What are you doing? Before he then just comes into the locker room and starts speaking to everyone about how much he loves his teammates. And some of them are giving us looks like, what is this about? It's an uncomfortable working environment, and yet there are still players who I've spoken to who want Jimmy there. That's the awkward part. There are still relationships there.
It's not just that, though. This is the part that gets lost in the noise of the day when the Celtics run away. When you were right there with the Celtics, when and how were you right there with the Celtics? When you played a style of basketball led by Jimmy Butler that they're going to get 19 deflections in the first half on your passes because they're playing regular season basketball like if it matters. And it's going to be super precise basketball. How are they winning? It's 23 free throws, and these guys are hitting from 3, and they're doing it with no margin for error because they're not all that good. They're all overachieving, and so that's the way they got to win.
But they did it.
But if Jimmy's not trying like that, what I'm saying to you is that's not perceptible to our human eye. Like, not to most of the people analyzing this. And that's where it gets super interesting on if you're already in a workplace where you think the guy next to you isn't working as hard as he can because you're all playing for each other's careers and your money and all of the things that make up team, that your business partners with Jimmy Butler. He's bleeping with everybody's money, Stugotz. Like, even if it's guaranteed money, the workplace is filled with all we care about is let's make that money.
He's also the guy, though, and I think his teammates would probably agree with this, that, you know, made them relevant, brought them at a time where the Heat weren't supposed to be relevant. Jimmy Butler became a player we never thought he'd become, and he led them to the NBA Finals and a couple of trips to the Eastern Conference Finals. Like, that's fairly amazing.
But he's putting himself before the team, which in Miami is
most players do, Greg.
I know, but this is the antithesis of Heat culture, right? I mean, what he's doing, everything the Heat is going through right now, is the opposite of the culture.
It's the result
that
of the last 15 years. It's not the antithesis. Heat culture birthed all of this.
But what if Jimmy is saying, I did the Heat culture thing. You may be the best player I've ever been at any point in my career, and the reward is what?
Guys, the result of the last 15 years is Jimmy Butler's better than he's ever been. The Miami Heat profited greatly, and these breakups are super messy. And now it's in their locker room in the way that's an infection, and Jimmy control with sneakers, and Pat Riley must be like, you clown. Like, this is how you disrespect everything we did together when it was really hard.
But Jimmy didn't make them champions. So has he succeeded by Heat standards, by Pat Riley's standards?
He has, yes. He has succeeded. Winning the championship is not the only measure.
Greg, I never thought I'd see Jimmy Butler be the best player on a team that went to the NBA Finals.
I don't want to talk about it anymore either, actually, because I understand where it is that we make this stuff weary. But don't disrespect the last 5 years like you did Martin Short. Like greatness is hard to achieve. Okay, they were right there with the Celtics. It's really hard to be at the top of a conference for 5 years.
To almost achieved it.
Okay, to almost achieve. Yeah. Fine. To Greg Cody's standards.
All in? I'm a fan of the Jets. I'm a fan of the Jets. Oh, no. The Jets. The Jets. Why this team? The Jets! The Jets!
Stugotz, what's the matter, buddy?
I mean, right, just one time. I mean, 40 years I've been rooting for this team, and just one time I wanted my team to play in that big game in that beautiful dome in Los Angeles.
Dome? What about the elements? Back in my day, we didn't play in a dome. Let me tell you, back in my day, we considered football to be an honorable game. We didn't have to pass the ball every single play, and that's how we did it back in my day. It's the cold in December and sweltering two-a-days. It's embracing occasional punts, and don't get me started on instant replay. Now we're cooking with gas. Watch out! I'm not done, by the way. Let me tell you, back in my day, there was no showboating. We respected the game. We sat on a stoop and let the radio play, 'cause that's how we did it back in my day. It's the wishbone I wish for. It's a toss to Red Grange. It's a first down without a taunt. Playing the game the right way. Whoa! No retractable roofs. I'm talking frozen tundras and ice bowls. No bad Brooklyn. representing the Purple People Eaters, ladies and gentlemen. That's how they played the game back in my day. It's Len Dawson enjoying a smoke and a brew during a game. It's Hank Stram wearing a sports coat. Legalize the clothesline and bring back drop kicks while you're at it. I'm Greg Cody, and that's how it was back in my day. Ba-da-ba-diddly-up. Bop. Ba-da-ba-diddly-up. Bop. Bop. That kind of thing.
Thanks for the lift, bro.
No problem.
Yo, what is this? Is this the musical? Turn it down, man. Like, I'm so tired of it. Musicals are corny. The shit is corny. Like, me tiene hasta aquí with this musical stuff, man. Just turn it down. I want to just chill, man, for real.
I feel you, bruh. I used to be that same way. Then my dog Andrew Lloyd Webber touched my soul with Phantom. And I quickly realized that, man, musicals, they're the highest form of theatrical art that there is, my brother. Think about it. It combines song, movement, dialogue, and production in a comprehensive fashion that really can't be rivaled. I'm talking about really, like, intricate shit, man. In many ways, musical led the cultural change in the 1930s, which was considered to be the golden age of musicals. Had those supremely talented artists not pushed boundaries and helped shape the new American pathos back then, I don't know if I'd be here right now today, standing in front of you. No cap, like no capadonna. Musicals have the capability to make you feel ways that you never thought possible. Even if you might find the subject matter mundane going into it, by the end of the experience, you might find yourself spiritually enlightened through the magic of song and an occasional exposition to advance the story. Matter of fact, I'm feeling ways about football right now I could never dream prior to. I think I'm about to have a moment, my brother. Way down in the jungle deep, a lion bit a Viking on his motherfucking knee. It began in 1869, I see you, Mojo, with a match between the Princeton Tigers and the Scarlet Knights of Rutgers. Then in 1880, along came a man named Walter Camp, the father of American football, the Waltster, Wham, as they called him. He established the snap, the line of scrimmage, 11-player teams, and the concept of downs. The gladiator spectacle. Though the game has evolved over time, at the heart of it, the game of football is just a primal means to tell the age-old story of the triumph of the human spirit. Can you and your teammates overcome the brutal battery of physical and emotional trials over the course of a savagely cruel 18-week regular season, brother? And what be your reward for such a merciless gauntlet? A thrilling single elimination tournament that pushes the peak male form to high water marks year after year against the game's very best. All with the hope that you and your brothers in combat can rise above all others in one unified voice. Declare yourselves champion. That is why, with every fiber of our being, we love the playoffs.
When the best play, trenches face to face, sacrifice life and limb for the Lombardi. If there's a way, Stafford turns it all around. It would have to be LA, it would have to be McVay. What you say, Tom Brady, always down. Could he turn it all around now? Turn it all around now. Wipes the blood from his lip, holy shit, he's gonna do it all again, do it all again. It's time for the playoffs.
goalies, playoff beards, and Lord Stanley. No, Roy, I'm not talking about ice hockey. I'm talking about the NFL playoffs, the gridiron, winner go home, the ultimate postseason tournament. Here, let me show you. Big Ben's last game, Kyler's feeling shame, upsets in Green Bay and in Tennessee. There's just no way Prescott's going to the ground. He slid 1 second too late, and they don't have a timeout. Josh Allen, Pat Mahomes, Arrowhead, become personal playgrounds. Too much time, 13 ticks. Holy shit, he's gonna do it all again. Do it all again. It's time for the playoffs. So grab a beer. I hope it's Miller Lite. It's time for the playoffs. The playoffs. It's time for the good stuff. Where every game comes down to guys who kick. It's time for the playoffs. The playoffs. The The playoffs sometimes mean having to say goodbye, even if you're not ready. Careers wind to an end, mantles taken, last chapters written. But stars emerge to write new, exciting stories. For every door that closes, a new one opens. For every immunized quarterback that falls short, there's a young hotshot ready to take his place. There's nothing quite like playoffs. The playoffs. Heavy is the head that wears the crown. I'm talking about the greatest of all time. He can turn it around in just one play. You can watch it all happen in the playoffs. The playoffs. It's the playoffs. Never is afraid. I see his face. The chosen. I'm talking about Evan McPherson. It's time for the playoffs. It's the playoffs. The playoffs. It's the playoffs.
Evan McPherson? The GOAT? He's a kicker! I mean, Tom Brady's bed's still warm. Tom Brady just left.
You're the greatest of all time. You're the greatest of all time.
He's beautiful in every way. It's out of control.
He throws the ball most accurately and won 7 rings.
So good at backing. He's meant to outdecade teams.
A 6th-round draft pick with a chip on his shoulder and a dimple on his chin.
You're the greatest of all time. You're the greatest of all time.
This episode of the Dan Le Batard Show with Stugotz is presented by DraftKings. DraftKings, the crown is yours.
We had at one point some sleepy imaging of us talking about Jokic and the way he's dominating basketball with unprecedented numbers that make you bored because his teammates aren't good enough, even though he's won a championship with them and he is playing a form of basketball, I think it can be said, without it being shocking or controversial, is the greatest offensive basketball that has ever been played by anybody ever. Now, we can argue about defensive metrics and whatever it is that you want to say about Michael Jordan, but the sport of basketball cannot be played better offensively than the way Jokic is playing it. He's the best we've ever seen. We're watching it as it happens. Like,
right.
We can have whatever it is our mythologies are about Michael Jordan, but numerically, empirically, rebounds, assists, field goal percentages from 3, offensive efficiencies, there's never been anything like it.
How about rings plus minus? Throw Michael's rings in a box. Throw Jokic's rings in a box. Michael has 6. He has 1 plus 5. How about that?
Go ahead and play the imaging. We're going to reverse engineer this thing.
Here's a start of the day from that
weird. We can agree, right? It's weird that this guy can be so unprecedented kind of dominant that you're bored by it.
I wouldn't say bored. I think the fact that, and I don't mean to be a jingoist, the fact that he is not from the United States, the fact that he's not playing in Boston or Denver or Boston or New York or L.A.
Right.
I think that factors in.
And let's be honest. I mean, he had 27 points, 13 rebounds, 10 assists, 1 block, 4 steals last night.
Average game.
It's boring, though.
Below average game.
His offensive game is not aesthetically pleasing. Let's put it that way. Dunk once in a while.
If he doesn't care, why should we?
He has 4 straight games with triple-doubles, and he has not played a single minute in the fourth quarter of any of those games.
One-trick pony, this guy.
Stugotz, just so you know, like when you do a dive on the numbers, and I know you guys don't care about this, but when he's on the court, the Denver Nuggets are a historically great basketball team at all times. And the moment he leaves, they're terrible. Like when you do the sample size of the last few years, like if you just get him 5 minutes of rest.
That's all he needs? Just get him 5?
Jessica, what are you doing? It
This is
seems like
making
you're
me
trying
fall
to
asleep.
stifle a sneeze.
No, it's a yawn. This lullaby does something to my brain.
And Jokic.
It is sleepy.
I like that he's a one-trick pony, but his trick is he does 3 tricks.
I think he would love to be a
triple-doubles.
one-trick actual pony.
Yeah, he loves
Like if he
love
lived
his
his
ponies.
dream, he would be a pony.
Yeah.
More than any player in sports except maybe Kawhi Leonard. Can I think of somebody who would just rather retire to a life where he was just a retired one-trick pony?
House arrest.
Wandering around, eating bits, just eating bits and just doing one thing a day very well and leave me alone for the rest of the time.
But instead, he's top 3 in the NBA in points, rebounds, and assists per game, and no one's done that since 1969-70 season.
Tack on a ring.
I think, you know what? Do you realize how weird it is to say what I'm about to say? And I think the audience would not know this superstar well enough to answer my question if I don't make it about whatever he values in dollars. If I just say to you, do you think he'd be prefer to be doing that or just, a shepherd? He just wandering around being a shepherd who occasionally can go to the local nightclub. Which would he choose as a life? Is he the one guy that you would say, I'm not sure I can answer that question accurately?
I'm not sure.
He could quit tomorrow and train horses for a living. He'd be thrilled.
Now, is he choosing between that and a basketball career? Meaning, has he played basketball already? Has he made enough
right
money?
Now, if you tell him now, you tell
that's
him,
tough,
you
right.
tell him.
I think he goes shepherd. Yeah.
You tell him right now. Would you prefer to keep playing the rest of this season? We got a lot of road trips. You don't really want to go to Memphis, do you? Or be a shepherd?
Yeah, shepherd. I say that with confidence.
I don't know. I can't say anything with confidence. That I can't say it with confidence gives me confidence that I can say it with confidence.
I
because
understand what you're
it's
saying.
not a question I can pose to anyone else and have it be a reasonable question. We would all like to be. Look, have you not dreamt of going to a T-ball game and just kicking everyone's ass? Like just hitting home runs all over the place, able to throw the ball fully across the diamond?
I mean, he does have the opportunity right now to go do it.
Have you not dreamt of being athletically dominant?
But why against children if it's a dream? Like, why wouldn't you dream of being athletically dominant over athletes?
Because I can't imagine.
If you're going to dream.
Yeah,
not
dream
now,
big.
right?
I mean, you could go to a park and beat up children if that's what you want to do.
You're absolutely right. My dreams go no higher than a local Y. Like it starts. It starts at beating up children in a local playground game, and they don't go to the NBA. My dreams die at the local Y, where I'm scoring 16 and making a buzzer beater.
Careful.
Are you mocking the kids after you dunk on them?
Oh, he has to.
He's shooting 47.5% from 3.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. Second in the league, right? He's second.
56% on open threes. That's
lunacy.
insane.
Just lunacy for a person his size.
Turn this off.
Okay, fair enough. In all regards, you're totally right, Jessica, on all matters here. For the content in general, as it regards excellence for all times, an immortal, but not really.
Yeah.
Because he's a foreigner and because he plays in Denver. The rules are you got to play in my city and be from here.
He's got a roadie at Minnesota, at Chicago, at New York, at Philadelphia, at Charlotte.
He doesn't want to be in Minnesota playing tonight. He doesn't want to get on the bus. He doesn't want to walk from the hotel to the team bus today. He'd do it for goats. He'd do it for horses.
Yeah, more important.
It's weird. It's an odd thing to say. We will not find out, evidently, who skipped the TSA line. That part is really disappointing.
That's
I think
unfortunate.
Very disappointing.
Yeah.
Cody still wants to know, right?
I
all
need
do.
to know. I
Yes.
need to know.
Jordan Rogers.
It's almost too late. Jessica, how do we get these hints out of you? What can we do to get some more information here?
Their name may have already been guessed.
Oh, wow. We're not getting it, man.
I know I'm right.
Greg, do you like hard candy?
It depends on what kind.
There's this new hard candy that Progresso has unveiled, and it's for soup lovers. It's soup hard candy.
Really?
It tastes like soup?
Would you dabble in that?
Oh, no. That sounds awful.
It's like a chicken noodle soup flavored hard candy.
No,
Some
that
things are
sounds
sacred, and
dreadful.
soup is one of them. I
Yeah.
mean, what are you doing?
I make a great turkey soup.
Oh, I can't imagine.
Yeah, the carcass, the whole bit. But
Can
I
you talk
want
about
my,
her candy? I mean, you're just going to go on a spiel about your soup?
I want my
It's not my
candy to
candy.
taste like candy. Imagine that. If it tastes like anything other than candy, it's not candy.
It just feels like something old people, with all due respect, would love. You guys like your hard candies and you like your soups. It
Yeah.
feels like a good combo for an older gentleman to enjoy.
I do like old man candy. Old man hard candy like the Werther's.
Oh, those are good.
Yeah,
Yeah.
those are great.
Yeah.
Those are fantastic.
Now, what if it tasted like chicken?
No.
No.
It's awful. I
All
mean,
right.
it's-
What if your soup tasted like Werther's?
That'd be good.
Yeah.
That would be good.
Yeah,
Different
that'd be
game,
great.
Not
Billy.
just like butterscotch pudding?
Why do
Yes.
old people like hard candy? Like you would think with the teeth situation that we'd be looking for like softer things, right?
You know what? I got teeth in my head. My dentist.
Yeah.
He retired. but
McGillicuddy?
My former. Yes.
Yeah.
He told me that I will die with these teeth in
I
my
love
head.
that.
Wow.
I have.
That guy
some of
wouldn't
the-
shut up, by the way.
I have some of the best gums ever made.
And
Right.
teeth,
Yeah.
gum teeth combo.
Yeah, I have a gum. I have
Wow.
a gum situation that's A1.
What does he mean by that? Like your teeth aren't going to fall out?
Right.
Okay.
Like
Yeah.
a friend of mine, just a couple of years older than me,
Right.
just has dentures now,
Really?
and
Name names.
and that's never going to happen.
Because you
with me.
won't allow it. Like if you did lose your teeth, for
No, I'll
something
never
happened,
lose my teeth. I'll
Your
let-
teeth are going with you to the
Yeah,
grave.
Well, let's say you
Yes,
get in a
right.
skateboarding accident, you lose some teeth. Are you going to get dentures, or you're just going sans teeth moving forward?
I would probably go sans teeth
I think
Really?
he's saying his teeth wouldn't fall out in a skateboard.
no, they won't
accident.
fall out
Because of the gums, or because of the teeth?
because of the gums.
What he's clearly saying, okay, is that he had this awkward conversation with his dentist. When you're dead, your teeth will still be in your head. That's a conversation he had with McGillicuddy.
Right.
That's good.
You can't say that about everyone. I mean,
No,
right.
He's
It's
got
unusual.
he's got a good set of teeth. He's saying that you come from good fabric and that
Right.
your dental structure, what's been passed down to you, makes you someone who will have, when you are a numb skull,
Right.
in the grave, your teeth will be intact because you have, listen to me,
Right.
teeth in your mouth,
Yeah.
teeth in your head.
Yes, I have lifetime teeth. When you're cremated, do the teeth survive that, or do the
You think it's just a
Apparently.
pile of
Interesting.
dust and some teeth?
Yeah.
I think when you open the grave many years later, you just see the teeth.
right?
Yeah.
Like a
Well, no,
grinning.
there's bones.
There's no way this can be so.
I've
A grinning
seen
smile.
like videos of cremations. Like there's still pieces.
Why have you
left.
seen videos
Yeah, that's
of that?
odd.
What the hell are you
No,
watching in your
that's
spare
weird.
time?
Shreds of bones.
What are you doing? What
survive.
kind of darkness do you do in your spare
What
time?
Lucy watches on planes and she doesn't want Feinbaum to see also?
You just watch people incinerated in your spare time? Where do you go? Incinerators.com?
I'm trying to remember what
good
show
site.
it was in, but yeah, it was. There was a
Do they
lot.
at least, do you get like the sped up version? Kind of like a time lapse?
Oh,
Hold
it
on.
was in that monkey documentary because this
Oh.
woman tried to pretend that her monkey died. She had a chimp that she wasn't supposed to have, and she apparently lied to the government, to lawyers who were telling her she had to hand over this monkey. I think she had a different monkey cremated and then said, this is the monkey. He died and I cremated him. And they said, there's no way that you self-cremated the monkey because there would still be bits of the monkey left. So then they showed a cremation and what was left over after they cremated it. And there were like pieces of bones and
Yeah,
stuff.
that's correct. You have to put before you put the ashes in like an urn. You have to put it through a sieve, like
Yeah.
you put spaghetti in
Actually-
a colander.
At the game on Monday, I met someone who brought their dad's ashes to the national championship.
Wow.
You hang out some
And
weird
did
people.
did what with them? Spread
It was
them on the
no,
field?
it was like
or-
in her pocket.
How do you get that through security?
In her pocket.
Did they
It's
buy
just
the ashes a
ashes.
ticket?
What
I
kind
mean,
of bag was it? Like, what if it's you can
Right,
just walk
no.
past security with powder in a bag?
That's odd. I mean, let it go.
That is
right?
odd.
Yeah.
I don't don't think that like
Bringing your parents' ashes
metal
to a football
detector
game?
I never heard of that.
You
off
teased her?
for
Like, what do you
ashes.
do?
You've never heard of that? I think people do that like, all the time.
I did,
Really?
yeah. I thought I read somewhere there was a service of people that will do that. Like they'll spread the ashes for you at set events.
They weren't spreading
Not
them.
there
They were
should
just
be.
like, I wanted, part of my.
Oh, that's really
my
weird.
dad
Then.
with me.
Hold on a second. Didn't even spread them. Just
Isn't
went
it
out
weirder
for
if you
vacation,
spread them at
like a trip.
the Mercedes-Benz
Took them to a
Stadium?
football game.
That's odd. Yeah.
I need to stop everyone here and have you all realize that you have somebody being cremated being just a bunch of ashes with 7 whole human teeth on top.
That was me, yeah.
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 The teeth will survive.
Well, so your
I don't
teeth-
believe that. I don't believe it's ashes in chunks. I believe it's just ashes. I believe the
No.
incinerator
No.
grinds everything to dust. You're bringing up. We
It doesn't
could do,
grind anything.
It doesn't grind anything,
Jessica,
to
we
Billy's
could
point.
do a
Thank you, Greg.
think piece about what Tiger King morphing into that chimp movie. A think piece on everything that's happened to America, that chimp movie made you profoundly sad. I don't know if chimps incinerate the way humans do.
You and think pieces. I got to tell you, I was thinking about think pieces the entire day
Yeah.
yesterday
Boy,
and
Maddow
into today.
mentioned it, and we were super confused.
It's a terrible sell. Like, because I don't want to think. Don't tell me it's a think piece. I just want to read your column, be done with it, and move on to the next. If I read anything at all.
Yeah.
What I don't want to do is have to think too much, okay?
Yes.
I mean,
you're right.
Think piece.
The same with the phrase long form.
Right, exactly.
I
I
can see
seek
the
out
short
long
form.
Yeah.
No, I see long form and like a little like antenna goes up. I'm like, ooh.
Really?
I'm going to find out about something I never knew in this.
God.
David Gran, he's got a whole short story book of all his long form, Greg. You would love it. Giant octopus, everything.
How does your friend know they brought the deceased dad's like eye ashes and not like a foot ash? Like, how do they know that they actually observed
I
or
don't-
witnessed the game?
I don't know. It wasn't a friend of mine. It was someone that I met that day, and she was like telling me. But she said it sort of offhanded, so I never really followed
Weird
up.
icebreaker.
Did she introduce you to her dad? Or I mean,
Yeah, here's my dead
this
dad
is Bill.
in the bag.
I mean,
Exactly.
No, but like I feel like you
I
guys
need
are
to-
a lot
I need
more
to slow
afraid
this
of,
down.
of death than
Not
you know,
afraid, just.
Just like you're
Just have questions.
I don't
Is
think
Dad
it's
enjoying the
that
game?
weird, honestly.
Yeah.
You know what I
Who's
thought
Dad
was
rooting
weird?
for?
When my pap died, my uncle accidentally unscrewed the urn, and part of his ashes fell out like at the reception.
man.
I was like,
Wow.
Uncle Frank.
What a faux pas by Uncle Frank.
Yeah.
Fumble.
You vacuum it, and what do we do? Or Uncle
You
Frank
can't
just-
forgive Uncle
brushed it
Frank.
off onto the
That can't be
floor.
forgiven. You can't be. Uncle Frank.
Maybe trusting Uncle Frank in the first place was the
It's a
problem.
Mark
Yeah,
Andrews
Uncle Frank.
situation for Uncle Frank.
Greg, you said your teeth are permanent because of your gums, but when you die, your gums erode. So do your teeth then fall out?
At that point, I don't give a shit.
Oh.
All right, very good. Earlier, if you were with us last week, you heard people say that I looked worse than Chris Penn after he died and then got sicker.
Oh, wow.
That's a thing that happened. Yes, and so now,
Jeez, man.
yeah, that's and-
Someone said that about you?
Yes, that was lovely. Katie Nolan is joining us now.
She laughed out loud at that, by the way.
Yes, she was covering
And at the
her
thought of
face.
you reading it all, Stugotz.
No, thank you. Yes.
Where-
Stugottsbook.com.
Where are you on what we're saying in terms of hardest things to incinerate on the human body? Do you imagine it's the eyeball? Do you imagine it's the toenails? Do you imagine it's the teeth? When people are talking about cremations without looking it up, what do you think is the hardest to turn to ash?
It's got to be the teeth.
Thank you.
Like, what is this? It has to be like, what? How do you burn that? I
Right.
can't light that on fire.
It's like Yankee.
So you guys are saying you think that in an urn is a bunch of ashes and the teeth, or
No, I think they grind them up. I imagine they grind them up. These are also the easiest part to just go like,
Yeah.
and it turns to dust. So if I were cremating somebody, and maybe I will someday, I would grind up the teeth, I think, into a fine powder.
That's exactly what ends up happening. Apparently, is that
Yeah.
parts of the enamel of the teeth remain.
Mm.
The soft tissue, of course, will be cremated, but the enamel and some bone fragments remain. But then, Katie, you're right. They just grind them up into a little powder and throw it on in.
Wow.
How do they grind them?
Yeah, good question.
What's used to
A
grind?
pencil sharpener.
A mortar?
No.
The same thing my Grammy uses to make meatballs, Greg. What do you think?
I don't know. I've never ground a bone.
Really?
No.
That's
Yet.
surprising.
No, I haven't.
Katie, I just want to get your thoughts on something because Greg Cody is often doing his very own show. Greg Cody decided with very bad timing to just shout at no one in particular, guy don't want to earn.
Want to earn, not want to.
Guy don't want to earn.
Guy don't wanna earn.
Katie,
Yeah,
Katie
earn.
is a guest on our show. You're doing one of your signature lines, but
Yeah.
she has no idea what you're talking about.
Right. I thought everybody knew that. Gotta want to learn. Gotta want to earn.
Yeah.
Katie,
It's pretty standard.
Katie, would you like to try and analyze what he was trying to say with bad timing there, and then he'll explain it to you so you understand the way that you were so careful the first time you were on with us. You waited about 45 minutes before speaking. Greg Cody just speaks when he wants to.
Guys don't want to earn. So I assume you're saying a person doesn't want to be cremated and put into an urn, and you're quoting something that already existed that sounded like guy don't want to earn to you?
Guy don't want to earn, guy don't want to learn.
Yeah.
Guy don't want to learn, guy don't want to earn.
You're just saying it more. That's not helping.
No, he's right.
It is
though.
helping me.
It means, and it's, I know it's guy, but, it applies to women as well.
Thank you.
Gotta want to earn. It means you're not working hard. You gotta want to earn. Gotta want to learn. Gotta want to earn.
Yeah.
And it's a
So it
play
had nothing
on
to do
earn.
with earns.
No.
We were just talking about
Play on words.
cremation and also separately earning EARN.
Yeah.
Classic
Yeah.
2-2-2 situation.
Yeah.
Right.
When I hear a word that has another meaning to it or a pun
Yeah,
can
it's
be
the
created.
Kornheiser School of Aging. That's it. That's comedy in your 70s, baby. Just make things rhyme and then go to the grave.
No, it's true. Somebody says he's got a lot of pride. I'm going to make a Charlie Pride joke. I can't help myself.
That boy.
Okay.
Katie, enough shenanigans. Just to catch you up on what we were talking about earlier, who do you think would be the easiest tight end to kill?
Wow.
Oh.
All time.
I thought it was hardest tight end was the
Well,
We
both.
agreed
They go
Dallas
easiest,
Goedert,
easiest
right.
and hardest, yeah.
but easiest.
Yeah,
because
because
Gronk.
naturally we were talking about immortal tight ends because of the game that we had this past weekend. So
Sure.
yeah, Gronk. We were talking about it off air outside. I think that Gronk would be the easiest to trap in a box with a stick.
Yes.
Like,
you can lure
him in
you could lure him anywhere.
into
I
like
feel
and then you get him like in a bamboo cage and you just kind of let him like run around in there and it's fun. Like I wouldn't want to kill him. Right?
Yeah,
but
I
heaven
wouldn't
forbid
either.
he gets out. Yeah.
Right. But I do think he'd be very easy to you just tell him a couple things and say, it's okay. And if it starts to feel scary in there, nothing's happening. You're okay. And he would just, sit there in that gas chamber that I just lured him into, and then boom, he's dead.
Put it on the poll,
Very
please,
easy.
Juju. Could you fool Gronk with a handful of lollipops?
Could you fool him to death?
Show. Yeah, just what the answer to Gronk seems to be, because the place we started is he's both the hardest and the easiest. Easiest to fool, but physically we started talking about how do you start to solve this problem if it does not want to be killed?
Okay.
As
Fair.
one does this time
Why
of
are we
year.
doing? I don't like.
Billy,
I don't like
it's
this.
Billy the third time. It's a wild Billy Wednesday, Jess.
Championship weekend. I mean,
Like if
Wait, the hardest is Tony Gonzalez because he's
Ooh.
connected to Bezos, and so he's probably got shooters.
ooh.
I do and have wanted to talk about the inauguration and Bezos. I don't think we want to do that now. Katie Nolan is
No.
here, and I should announce to the people I'm very excited about this. I was very excited to see it. She is making her triumphant return with Casuals. She is at Sirius XM. That's where you can find our show as well, 12 p.m. Eastern on Channel 85. And Katie, I was just thrilled to hear, because I've been watching the content you've been making with Pablo, with Dan Soder, just the things that you've been doing. I like to see you back in the game in a way that feels vibrant.
Hey, thanks, Dan. I will say we're not on Sirius XM. We're a Sirius XM podcast, and you can get that wherever you get your podcasts. But yeah, it's fun. It's just I don't have to tell you guys what it is. You know what it is. It's just a show that's about sports, and it isn't really about sports as much as people seem to want it to be sometimes. You know what I mean? When you work in sports media, I'm not going to explain this all to you guys. I've been doing this to outside. I've been doing outside of sports media, like the media rounds today, and so that speech is very different than the one here. You guys know what it is.
But so yeah, because I'm very excited about a number of different things here. Okay, but also from afar, and forgive me to start here, but it seemed like the Apple baseball experience would seem from afar super scarring, just unpleasant. Bob Costas at the end is fighting with the baseball purists about how he announces games.
You're really diving right into this, man.
Yeah, today's a day of celebration.
Because I want people to understand what her return means. Like, it's to me, she's going to get to do something in her voice now, unencumbered by other things, and I'm excited to see what that blossoms now that she's been strengthened by the bullshit that this media business does to people.
That's good. I'll give you some grief you can eat. So it was like It was tough. Apple was tough. It was a swing, not to get into the baseball metaphor, but it was a thing I tried. They pitched me on it. At first I said no. Then they came back and they were like, we weren't joking. We think you can specifically bring what you do to baseball. And then after one game, that wasn't what they wanted anymore. And, if you work in the media, that happens sometimes. You get sold a bill of goods, you say yes, and then things change and you adapt. But adapting in baseball is a lot harder than maybe other sports because it's not a sport that does a lot of change and or rapidness. And so it was just sort of it was a season I got to go for free to a bunch of baseball stadiums I'd never been to and watch live baseball from the best seat in the house. So you're not going to catch me complaining like it was some sort of traumatic experience. Were people really, really, really mad and mean? Yeah. But I got back in touch with baseball. I love baseball like I used to now, which is awesome. I'll never be mad about that. And I also just think the podcast for me was like after baseball, I took a little bit of time to just all right, let me get out of sports for a second and go back to liking sports as like a person who likes sports, not somebody who likes sports and then the next day is going to have to talk about them all because that changes the way you watch it. And so I just kind of went back to being a lady that likes to sit at home and watch sports and talk about it with her friends, and then was like, surely we can make a podcast of this. And so here we are. I just want people to have an in. That if they don't already know everything and they don't know the inside jokes and they don't know the references and they just can come, find out on Casuals and see if sports are for them. Because I think, Dan, I'm not teaching you anything new here. I think we lean bro heavy in our coverage of sports. And I think there are gals who might be interested in sports.
You don't say.
But who are turned off by all of the sleeveless tank tops.
Katie, how did it feel just being a sports fan? How'd that feel?
It rules. It was so much different. I was like, oh my God, I can just if I miss a play, I don't have to be like, go back. If this is key, I need to know where were they on the field? What was the down and distance? It's just you're just watching the sport. It's like the emotional ride. The whole reason I loved sports in the first place is it's human interest. It's happening live right in front of you. Nobody knows what's going to happen unless gambling money eventually. Oh, we're on DraftKings Network. Let me not say that. But it's happening in front of you. No one knows. Everything's anything could happen at any given moment, and we're all experiencing it. We all have this weird emotional tie to it. It reminds us of our families and our dads, and it's how we communicate with people we love in our lives. But it's just a sport. It's just a silly thing, especially now with all the goings on. It's just it's a thing everybody can love, and I feel like we're not helping enough people love it.
Katie, I listened to the first episode, and you and Stavros were just basically cracking up the entire time on hating on each other's fandoms and creating sort of mini rivalries within it. So how much of this is going to be just celebrating sports versus kind of enjoying that friendly, shit talk?
I feel like it's going to depend on who we're talking to, right? So a lot of people are bringing fandom with them, and we will figure out what they're fans of and where their fandom comes from and what their connection to it is. And obviously, if there's somebody that, if they're a Yankees fan, there's going to be some playful, fun tension there. But we also have a lot of guests who comedians who aren't sports fans, don't consider themselves sports fans, and we'll talk to them about why that is. And I always think it's really funny to get funny people's perspective on something that but they don't, because they always are bringing these fresh eyes and they're watching sports and going, why is it like this? And you go well, actually, I've never thought of it that way. Why is it like that? So I'm hoping to have a lot of moments like that. It's just basically going to be tell me what you're into and what you watch and why you care about it. And then we go through the news that was interesting to us that week.
Katie, I feel like you're uncommonly discerning and that you know what feels good in the making of content. I would imagine over the last couple of years, wherever it is that people like Stavros make things, that you found some inspiration in. I've got a really cool lane to make something that is adjacent to some cool people and creators, and I've learned some things that the hard way in the media business to make this exactly the kind of people I want to collaborate with.
Yeah, I met a lot of cool people through doing this job. And then obviously my fiance being a stand-up comedian, a lot of my friends are stand-up comedians. And it's just an interesting group of people that I have a connection to from all these different places that I'm like, why wouldn't I bring them in and talk to them about the stuff that I love with them in a unique way? Like Ken Jennings, we're trying to get Ken Jennings because like obviously I met him doing Celebrity Jeopardy, and I think it's fascinating that on Jeopardy these really smart people always suck at sports categories. They just never have any sort of understanding about like the most basic sports questions. And I was like, what if we have Ken Jennings on and we ask him why he thinks that is? And like what it is about sports categories in Jeopardy that like makes them not work as well. And like what, and then I was like, well, where else would that content come from? And I don't know. So I made casuals so that we can talk about that kind of stuff.
Every Tuesday and Thursday in the SiriusXM app, wherever you get your podcasts. I wanted to ask you about what you think is going to happen with Tom Brady, but I also wanted to ask you the difference between how you're selling this endeavor during your media tour and the difference between how you should sell it here, because I really do believe this is going to be a special thing that you make because you've done a lot of hard-earned learning about what you want and what you don't want from this business. So I believe it's going to be the best thing that you do.
That's nice of you. What was your question?
It's a good question.
What have you said what most often while on this media tour?
He wants to know your pitch to the people who don't realize
like,
what it is
as
you're
you're
doing.
going around saying, hey, casuals, it's a podcast for you. How do you sell that to others who aren't familiar with your work and versus how you would sell it to us?
Okay, so what I've been saying to them is basically like it's a sports podcast for people who don't listen to sports podcasts. It's a sports podcast for somebody that's like, yeah, I know how sports work and I know them and maybe I played them when I was younger, but like I don't keep up with them because I'm kind of bored with the way like it's not. I'm making them this for like my sister-in-law who I'll watch sports with when we're on home for holidays, and we'll be watching the pregame show, and she's like, I'm sorry, can I put something else on until the game starts? They keep talking about the same 4 numbers and none of those numbers are like matter to me. And it's, you know, those people, the ones that are like entertained by the sport, but the stuff around it, they're sort of like, yeah, I'm not probably gambling on it, and I never thought I would go pro, so these numbers don't really matter to me. I just kind of would rather laugh, and we can laugh about the sport, but the laughing is sort of the important part. And the main part of the pitch has been like, for whatever reason, sports is really siloed. So if you're listening to like an entertainment podcast or a pop culture podcast, it'll cover almost everything except sports, unless it's like a big sports story, like if Aaron Rodgers does something stupid. But they won't really touch on like, oh, and also we're in the divisional round of the playoffs. And so I feel like people have a hard time getting just like basic level entertainment sports content that isn't specifically sports content. You know what I mean? I feel like you're not bumping into it unless you're signing up for the other stuff. And so I want to give people just the like pop culture, entertainment, sports stuff. So you'll be aware of what's going on in the world of sports. You'll be able to use it to your advantage small talk wise, because I think that's one of the best things about sports is you can just like talk to, you know, your door guy about their teams. It's just like a little connection you have with them. And then also, ladies, the men in your life. I feel like the emotional door to a lot of men is their sports teams. It's just like where you guys are putting all your feelings.
Yep.
And so to
it's
have
my only
access
door.
to those.
Yeah.
The apes, yes. It's unbelievable. Hey, ladies, do you want a portal to the caveman in your life?
Katie, I have 2 questions. 1, have you ever cut at the airport the TSA pre-check security line? And 2, do you have any guesses, because we're being told here that someone in the media covering college football cut the line, a massive line in Atlanta, leaving that game. Mm-hmm. Have you ever done it? And do you have any guess of who it could be in the media? The hints we have, they're white and they're a man.
Mm-hmm. Oh, that
Big
narrows
shocker,
it
right?
down.
I never heard white.
Cut the TSA line, meaning like how? There'd be a riot if you jumped in the front of the line.
Well, it was so chaotic that the line, it was hard to tell where the line started, so it was just one of those where it was like, oh, where do I go? And then I stumbled into a cut.
Someone was like, oh, I'm above the rules, and also no one's going to say anything, so I'm going to cut.
Yeah, who's going to yell at Lee Corso, you know?
I would bet Herb Street.
Private.
That's a good guess.
Yeah, I started with
private.
him and Fowler, but
Yes.
it has to be like what happened at the beginning is, of course, profiling. Nagandi got accused, and then it has to be a white man. It's only a white man. And so we've made all of the guesses from Tim Tebow to Lou Holtz.
Oh, Tim Tebow's definitely private, right?
Yes.
But
Yeah.
I don't know who's missing. Like David Pollock's not still around doing stuff off of the broadcasts, is he?
I don't know.
No.
Not on
Who's the
ESPN.
the sideline's like Molly, so it wouldn't be Molly.
No.
She's too sweet. Also, to answer your question that I skipped, I've never skipped the TSA line. I'll say I don't have TSA pre-check, and also I have the thing where I pay them to let me skip the line called Clear. So I'm always skipping the line, but it's like sanctioned in a sanctioned
The
way.
clear line was 90 minutes long.
Oh my God!
Clear
I
with
would just
pre-check.
no.
Their salespeople
That's a
are
nightmare.
assassins. I'm serious. I mean, they are crazy.
That's how they got me. I was late for a flight at
Right.
LAX, and I ran in panicked, you know me, and somebody was like, "Are you late for your flight and you want to skip the line?" And I was like,
They
"Yes."
feast on panicked flyers.
And he was like, he's like walking me to the machine while talking, and he goes, "Gonna cost you whatever it is, $100 or whatever." And I was like, "Don't care, fine, let's do this."
The
So here we are.
commerce of it is what's clear. Like, I love the fact that they are just trolling the business. Stugotz is like, why didn't I think of this? I'm
so upset.
Can I sell people a government-sanctioned, federally mandated cutting the line? You'll
It's
pay
legal.
You'll pay anything to not stand with your shoes off next to that guy, won't you? that barefooted guy from Des Moines. So you got $75?
You want to stand over here?
What a grift. It's not any safer. You could just buy yourself. That's the future.
Yeah.
That's where we're headed on all things in the future.
Everything. That's medicine too. People are like, "Oh, I have a doctor come to my house, and it only costs." And I'm like, "Yeah, that's like cost prohibitive to a lot of people. I don't think you can like skip the medical line to get to your doctor. People are waiting to see a doctor. That doesn't feel good. I don't think we should do that."
Katie, do you know anyone that spread their ashes at a sporting event?
No. I don't know if I know anyone that spread. I mean, I guess I helped Dan spread his grandmother's ashes. Other than that, I don't.
At Fenway?
It's the wind is always a fascinating factor to me when it comes to spreading ashes. It's like you toss it, it comes right back in your face. Now you're eating your loved one.
Dan, where did you guys spread your grandma's ashes?
My Dan, my fiance Dan, not Dan.
That would have
I
been a
didn't go
nice
with
thing for you and Dan to do.
Le Batard to spread his
Weird, but
grandmother's
nice.
ashes.
Yeah.
Odd flex by you.
It was just weird. I was really sad. Katie happened to be there. I'm like, you want to just eat some of my grandmother? And we just threw it into
Like,
the
I don't know. She volunteered, so I was like, okay, I guess.
so weird. She just happened to be around. It was an emotional moment, and she comforted me. She held me in her bosom, and we just sobbed
I appreciated
together.
the support.
I am very excited about this. I urge you to check out Casuals because Katie Nolan has always made good things, and you should support someone who deserves your support with something I'm sure she's making for SiriusXM that is great just because she's the one making it. Thank you, Katie.
Did you have Brady questions for her?
I did, but
Because he's getting better.
yeah.
He's getting a little bit better.
He's getting better. I will say he's getting better.
Yes.
He's still got that little thing that bothers me. That is that his those teeth he has might be the wrong size for his mouth. I do wish he would.
Grind
And I
them down a
googled
little.
it. You can have them. You can go back to the person who did them and be like, "Can you shave these down a little?" And I think that'd be in his best interest. I hear his teeth when he talks.
Yeah, big teeth, horse teeth.
Put it on the poll, please. Do you hear Tom Brady's teeth when he talks? That is a horrific announcer criticism. Meaner than anything that anyone said to
Him and
Casey
Bob Ryan.
on Apple.
But he's getting better.
Wait, who else is this?
But he's getting better.
Bob Ryan. No, not Bob Ryan.
Who
I'm
else?
thinking Rex Ryan. Rex Ryan, you can hear
Oh
his
my
teeth.
God.
when he
yeah.
talks.
Oh my God.
yeah, sure.
Yours
You hear
is
Rex's
worse.
teeth,
It's not
yeah.
Tom. Yours isn't as bad. If you're listening, yours aren't as bad as that.
What a horrible thing to say about a broadcaster. Like, truly horrible. I can hear his teeth when he talks. Thanks, Katie.